The 1971 World Series was the championship series of Major League Baseball's 1971 season. The 68th edition of the World Series. It was a best-of-7 playoff between the defending World Series and American League champion Baltimore Orioles and the National League champion Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates won in 7 games. Game 4 in Pittsburgh was the first World Series game played at night. The teams proved to be evenly matched. As the series went a full 7 games, the home team prevailed in each of the first 6. In Game 7 in Baltimore, the Pirates' Steve Blass pitched a 4-hit complete game for a win over Mike Cuellar and the Orioles. In his final World Series appearance, Roberto Clemente became the first Spanish-speaking ball player to earn World Series Most Valuable Player award. He hit safely in all 7 games of the series, duplicating a feat he had performed in 1960. 21-year-old rookie Bruce Kison pitched 6 1/3 scoreless innings and allowed just 1 hit in 2 appearances for the Pirates. He set a record of 3 hit batters in a World Series game, which also tied the 1907 record for a World Series. This was the first of 3 consecutive World Series, all 7 games, in which the winning team scored fewer runs overall. The trend continued for the next 7-game series in 1975. These 2 teams met again in the Fall Classic 8 years later, with the same result, as the Pirates won the final 3 games to win in 7.
Yes, they had. After opening up in Baltimore, taking Pittsburgh easily the first 2 games, it looked like it would be an easy series for Baltimore. But then when they moved to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh got hot.
Yeah. Nelly was superb as Baltimore defeated Doc Ellis. McNally with 9 strikeouts. And Baltimore really unloaded in Game 2 before a sellout crowd at Memorial Stadium, defeating the Pirates 11-3. But it was different, as Lou just mentioned it, when they got to Pittsburgh. It was Steve Blass who throttled the Orioles, allowed them just 1 run on 3 hits, and the Pirates got their first win of the series, winning it 5-1.
That seemed to give them momentum, Vince, as they won the next game 4-3, and then shutting out Baltimore in the 5th game 4-0, and now we're moving along to the 6th game, which moves right back to Baltimore.
Yeah. And a good friend of yours of mine, Nellie Briles, who's in the broadcasting business now, authored that shutout, that Pittsburgh 4-0 victory, a 2-hitter for Briles. But some great names in there. I imagine if Gene Kleins is around and listening to this one, it ought to bring back some pretty good memories for him.
I will vouch that he's playing every inning and every pitch. And you mentioned names. Baltimore had Buford, they had Big Boop Powell, and of course they had Frank Robinson in the outfield and Brooks Robinson, the great Brooks Robinson, at 3rd. While Pittsburgh coming up with the late Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente in the outfield. They had Stargell, and as you mentioned, Kleins, and also Al Oliver, who is still active with the Rangers, played center field also in that ball game, and Seguin was the catcher for Pittsburgh.
And he's the next 3, and so now they're back in Baltimore, and it's do or die for the Orioles. We'll be back with Game 6 right after this. Well, for Game 6 of the 1971 World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, we go to Jim Simpson.
Hello and welcome back to Baltimore for the 6th game of the 1971 World Series, a series in which the Pittsburgh Pirates have swept their last 3 and now only 3 games to 2 lead over the Baltimore Orioles, and should the Pirates win today, the World Series is all over. But remember, the Orioles won the first 2 at home. The Pirates won their 3 at home, and now Baltimore's back in its own Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. There's only one thing sure about today's ball game. It will be played, 10% chance of rain, and the temperature at the moment, a delightful 67 degrees. This is Jim Simpson, along with Bob Prince. Down to our right, Bob Moose, a relief pitcher, a starting pitcher, and he has been in relief twice in this World Series. 11 games, his high mark with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1971. Is warming up a right-hander, and off to our left, behind third base, Jim Palmer, winner of 20 games during the regular season, one of those 4 Baltimore 20-game winners, who won the 2nd game of the World Series in a laugher 11-3, but a game in which Jim threw 168 pitches. Moose and Palmer, right-hander against right-hander. The Pirates, if they win it, it's all sewn up. The Orioles, if they win it, we go to the 7th and deciding game tomorrow afternoon right here in Baltimore. for this sixth game of the World Series is Len Dillon from NBC New York, and our engineer is Dave Nolan out of WRC in Washington. Well, here are the lineups for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Leading off and playing at second base, Dave Cash. Batting second and playing at third base, Rich Hebner. Batting third and playing out in right field, the leading hitter for this 1971 World Series, Roberto Clemente, hitting .429, and in 12 World Series games, 5 this year and 7 back in 1960, Clemente has hit safely in every single one of them. Batting cleanup and out in left field, Willie Stargell, the Major League's home run hitter. Batting fifth in center field as Danny Murtaugh loads up with left-handers against the right-hander Jim Palmer, Al Oliver. Batting sixth at first base, he's hit 2 World Series home runs thus far, Bob Robertson. Batting seventh, the speedy, aggressive catcher Manny Sanguillen. Batting eighth, Jack Hernandez. At shortstop, not known for his hitting, but in this World Series, hitting well over 360, 364. And Bob Moose is the starter, 11-7 on the year, 4.11 is earned run average. He has been, Moose has, in a couple of these World Series games thus far, both times in relief. He pitched 3 2/3 innings in the first game, gave up a run. That was Don Buford's home run, and 3 hits. And then in that 7-3 ball game last Monday, he worked only 1 inning total and gave up 5 runs and 5 hits. Well, Moose has been both hot and cold. Now for the Baltimore Orioles, their lineup, leading off and playing out in left field, the switch hitter, Don Buford. Batting second at second base, and he is way up in the lineup, Dave Johnson. Batting third at first base, Boog Powell. Then we come to the Orioles' leading hitter, Frank Robinson, hitting at .412, batting cleanup and playing right field. Merv Retman, right-handed batter, will be in center field today. Brooks Robinson, of course, at third base. Batting sixth, Ellie Hendricks, left-handed swinging catcher, is behind the plate. Mark Belanger bats eighth. He's the shortstop. And Jim Palmer, 20-9 and 1-0 in the World Series, is the pitcher. Rube Marquardt, who set a Major League record for winning 19 consecutive ball games in one season, has thrown out the first ball. The umpires today, John Kibler behind the plate, Nestor Shylock down at first base, Ed Sudol at second, John Rice at third, Ed Bargo down along the left field line, and Jim Odom along the right field line. And looking around Memorial Stadium, we see that it is going to be much less than a capacity crowd. There are lots of seats, as well as out in the left field bleachers and the right field bleachers. So we will have less than the capacity crowd here today for the sixth game of the World Series. As we said, there are 2 right-handers, Bob Moose, who has concluded his warm-ups, and Jim Palmer. And now the Orioles take the field. Boog Powell goes down to first base. Davy Johnson will be at second. Mark Belanger, the shortstop. Brooks Robinson at third base. Don Buford's out in left field. Merv Retman in center field. Frank Robinson in right field, and Ellie Hendricks is behind the plate. Jim Palmer, the pitcher, doing a little gardening in front of the pitching rubber, scuffing it up a little bit. Palmer, the right-hander, who, by the way, is a high ball pitcher, and a pitcher that many will tell you has the best stuff on the Baltimore staff, has now begun his warm-ups and again has done a little gardening, and so just now has only thrown his second warm-up pitch to Ellie Hendricks. Remember, if the Orioles are to turn this series around, if they are to win, they must score some runs, something they have not done in their last 17 innings. They must keep the Pirates off the bases, something they've only done 3 times in the last 33 innings. The Pirates have been on that much. Pirates have come back here with a much different attitude than they had a week ago when they left. Down 2-0 when they said, let's get back to our ballpark. And there's a lot of conversation, specifically that by Roberto Clemente, that he does not think that Memorial Stadium in Baltimore is a Major League ballpark. And right back at him came the superstar of the Baltimore Orioles, Frank Robinson, who said, well, he used to play in Forbes Field, and this is better than that. So a little bit of controversy going on, but the big thing is, as they say, Bob Prince, the game is the thing. And Dave Cash is about to step in to face Jim Palmer. And here from the Pittsburgh Pirates, their voice, Bob Prince.
Thank you very much, Jim Simpson, and hello again, everybody. The lights have been on now for quite some time. It's a gray overcast day, as Jim Simpson told you. Very little threat of rain. The interesting confrontation here today will be Palmer, high fastball pitcher, National League, trying to go for low balls. And there's a high pop off the first base side on the first pitch, and Boog Powell has it 1 out. That was a little popper right up along first in fair territory, and 1 pitch, 1 away.
Richie Hebner, 2 hits in the series, a home run with 3 runs batted in. Richie batted at .271 on the regular season, 17 homers, 67 runs batted in. Hit a 3-run homer off Palmer in that game. Hits a high fly out into center field, and Palmer on 2 pitches has disposed of 2 batters. Now Bobby Clemente, the leading hitter in the series with 9 hits, has hit safely in all World Series games in which he has participated. 12 to be exact. Bobby in the regular season batted at .341, 13 homers, 86 runs batted in. As Jim Simpson reminds, 14 innings in a row, the Pirates have had a base runner. And if they're to prolong that streak, Clemente must get aboard. The outfield will continue to play Bobby around to right. It is 309 to right, and it's high fastball. Ball 1, no strikes. That's the first ball that's been recorded. Then it falls out to 360, 390, and 410 straight away. Clemente takes a breaking ball low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. The Orioles, like everybody in the National League, continues to pitch Clemente outside, and he continues to hit around 340. And there's a ball hit into the gap in left center field. It's in between Buford and Ruttman. It's going to be extra bases. Bounces off the tarpaulin out there. Clemente's going to second. He's going to try for third. The relay throw, not in time. Triple. Baltimore, Jim Simpson continuing to pitch him outside. Overshift their outfield around to the right. Now for the 15th consecutive inning, they're on, and Clemente poleaxed that one, a ripping drive right into the gap, straight away where there was nobody. Paul Blair finally getting it. Rather Buford. And on the relay, not in time, so Clemente is on with a triple. Bobby now has hit safely in all 13 games in which he has played in the World Series. And he wasted no time jumping on a fastball from Palmer. Stargell the batter, the 1-0 pitch, a change, it's low and inside ball 2. Now while Stargell was in the throes of a very fearful slump, he did ultimately pick up 4 base hits, one of them a double, drove in a run, and he also has 6 walks. And it's low, ball 3, 3-0. Well, it opened up very quickly with Cash swinging on the first pitch, popped him up to Boog Powell. Hebner then flied out to shallow center, and Clemente starched one into center field for a triple. 3-0 pitch, a strike is called, and it's 3-1. Your umpires, John Kibler at home plate, Nestor Shylock at first, Ed Sudol at second, John Rice at third. Here's the 3-1 delivery, and a swing and a miss, strike 2. Palmer and Stargell in the game they met in game 2. Stargell got 1 hit in 3 at-bats, walked twice. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. And he strikes him out. Stargell attempting to hold up on the pitch, couldn't do it. No runs, a hit. No errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first. There is no score.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Along with Bob Prince, Jim Simpson back in Baltimore as the Orioles, who won their 2 games here last Saturday and Monday, are back in town before their home crowd. No score as the Orioles come to bat for the first time, and Don Buford will lead it off against Bob Moose. Robertson, the first baseman, Cash at second, Hernandez at short, Hebner at third, Stargell in left, Oliver in center, Clemente in right, Sanguy in the catcher, and Moose about to pitch to Don Buford. Bob?
And Don Buford hit the first pitch off Moose when they appeared against each other for a home run. Batted on the season at .290, and the pitch is low, ball one. And Buford shortened up as though he might be bunting. Pirates have Hebner at third, Hernandez at short, Cash at second, Robertson at first, Stargell, Oliver, Clemente the outfield. Buford, a left-hand batter, being played to pull. Coaching at third, Billy Hunter. At first base, George Stoller. Moose on the 1-ball, no-strike pitch. Fastball, base hit into center field. Stopped out there by Oliver, and Buford's on. That'll bring up Davy Johnson. Had 3 hits thus far in the series and 2 runs batted in. On the regular season, batted at .282, 18 homers, 72 runs batted in. So the Baltimore Orioles get a man aboard to lead it off. Pirates have now stranded 51 men on the base paths, or else if you care to go the other way, Baltimore pitching has stranded 51 Pirates. A quick throw to first, and Bob Moose has the best move of any Pirate, and perhaps as good a move as anybody anywhere over to first base. So Buford will have to be careful. And there was a throw that almost nailed him. Got him in a little bit of a walking lead. The way he switches those legs and goes over there, he's got as good a move as you'll ever see. The outfield around to the left. Moose will hide that ball behind the crook of the right knee. Now checks it first, comes to the plate, and it's in there for the strike. You don't get to see anything Moose is tossing until he delivers. Hides the ball behind the crook of the right knee, then gloves it very nicely and short arms you, as they say. There's a quick, fast move to first as he reverses his feet and goes across, and again Buford is back. Davy Johnson being played to pull the ball a little bit. Stargell rather deep and left. Moose comes to the plate. A breaking ball in there. Strike 2, it's called. Pirates very obviously came to the ballpark today packed and ready to go home, but that's only a common sense move. If they win, of course, they'll go home. If not, they'll go home and then back here to the hotel, unpack, and do it again tomorrow. The 0-2 delivery is outside. He wasted his fastball, a ball and 2 strikes. Moose on occasion will show the knuckleball, and basically that's just to give the batter the idea that he does have another pitch. But his pitches, normally, he relies on pinpoint control and a good sinking pitch. Kibler has called time. On deck, Boog Powell. Buford, the runner at first base. Bit of a gap over there off that right side as Robertson holds there. Now the look and the 1-2 pitch. And there's a hard foul off third. And that ball missed by very little, being a fair ball. The stands on the third and first base side jut out very close to the foul line, perhaps some 270 feet down the line. And a ball could hit fair, go down there and hit that railing, and then ricochet on out in most any direction. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Buford, the runner at first, and the Baltimore first, and there is no score. Pitch to Johnson, and there's a foul back, and he moved that one in on his fist, running the ball in very tightly. Pointed out that Stargell didn't appear to be ready when Palmer struck him out in the first. He was still winging his bat around, and Palmer slid to strike 3 in there very quickly. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. And there's a pop foul coming back overhead. Out holding 1-2. One of the most memorable occasions back in the year, a couple of years ago, when the New York Mets won the championship. They were struggling for their very lives to win it when the Pirates came into town to play them a 5-game series. Buccos beat them a doubleheader, then Moose threw the no-hitter, and the Mets didn't lose any ground at all. 1-2 delivery, a puller down to third. Hebner has it. On to Cash for 1 on their first double play. So the Pirates go around the horn on a fast double play, 5-4-3. Double play ball over in Pittsburgh, Jim Simpson, stood the Pirates in mighty good stead. Baltimore Baltimore now brings up their number 3 batter. 2 hits in the series. Boog Powell batting a .256. No home runs, 1 run batted in the series. In the regular campaign, popped 22 out of the ballpark. The infield shift is on. And a foul back off to the left, and it's out of play. Hernandez on the first base side of second base, and back about 8 or 10 feet on the outfield grass. The outfield away around to the right. Clemente is not playing Powell too deep. No balls, a strike, 2 out and an on, no score. The pitch is a let-up, and it tails outside for a ball, 1-1. Moose, an all-around athlete from Export, Pennsylvania. A great football player. Has tremendous balance, and his fielding at the mound is exceptional. There's a pop-up foul, no play available as it comes back overhead. A ball and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter, Frank Robinson. As in any World Series, there's been a lot to create the interest of the fans, and a little bit of jabbing here and there between the Baltimore club and the Pittsburgh club. There's no question but what Clemente has been outspoken in his dislike of this ballpark from the standpoint of playing in it. There's a pitch into the dirt, a ball. That might have been his knuckleball that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Moose now having a little bee trouble. Been a lot of bees around here at Memorial Stadium. Ball 2, strike 2, 2 out, none on, no score. In the Baltimore first, 2-2 to Powell. And a foul ball on a sinking pitch that caught Kibler a little bit on the foot. 2-2. Moose very basically with a sinking ball type of delivery. Is not an overpowering pitcher. He's very low, under 2 points in ERA, taking his intentional walks out of there. He does not walk too many batters. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the 2-2 pitch to Powell. High fly, right field, hit deep. Bobby Clemente goes up for it. Now drifts back a few strides and has it for the out to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 1 inning of play here in Baltimore, there is no score.
This year's biggest airfare discounts are here. Midway Airlines with 408 nonstop flights every week serving major cities. New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, St. Louis, Detroit, Omaha, Kansas City, Washington, D.C. Midway Airlines now offers 191 weekly flights for at least 50% off. That's right, you save at least 50% off O'Hare's one-way unrestricted coach fares. You heard it right. Midway's 191 super economy flights also include every flight on Saturday from close-in, hassle-free Midway Airport. These fares have no restrictions, no small print, no ifs, ands, or buts, and all flights have convenient departure times. A straight, honest 50% or more discount from Midway Airlines. Some Midway flights have even lower wholesale fares than last summer. So what do you say?
Okay, Midway.
Okay. Jet Midway to New York for as low as $95, and now to Cleveland for only $48.
WGN Radio is presenting a rebroadcast of Game 6 of the 1971 World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles on WGN Radio in Chicago.
Back in Baltimore for the top of the second inning, Al Oliver, Bob Robertson, and Manny Sanguillen. Jim Palmer has completed his warm-ups. Oliver, left-handed batter, set to step in, and here again is Bob First.
Okay, Jim Simpson and Al Oliver, the center fielder. 3 hits in the series. No home runs, 2 runs batted in. Takes a darting pitch that's tailed away from the left-hand batter. Oliver last year used to really crowd the plate. Palmer wasting no time back with a curveball and fouled off the end of the bat to the left side, strike 2. Oliver on the regular season batted to .282, 14 homers, 64 runs batted in. Was platooned a lot by Danny Murtaugh. The 0-2 pitch, and it's fouled back again. That time Palmer ran the ball in on his fists. It'll be Oliver, Robertson, and Sanguillen in the Pirates' second inning with no score in the game. Now the 0-2 delivery. And there's a ball driven down the right field line. Fair ball bouncing into the corner. And Robinson makes a fine play. Crashes off the wall. Comes up throwing. Oliver's in with a stand-up double. Pirates have now had men on base 16 consecutive innings and have a triple and a double to show thus far in the game. But the triple by Clemente occurred in the first inning with 2 down. Now Oliver starts it off with a double. Palmer in the game against Pittsburgh that he won 11-3, surrendered 8 hits, stranded 14 batters, walked 8, and struck out 10. Now the batter, Bobby Robertson. He's had 3 base hits, but 2 have left the ballpark. And they were telling blows. One that he hit for a home run in Pittsburgh when he missed the bunt sign, and one that he hit straight away into center field in Pittsburgh to help win the game. A swing as he tried to go to right field. That time very definitely just trying to move the ball off the right side of the diamond to advance Oliver to third. Frank Osiak coaching at third for the Pirates. Over to first base is Don Leppert. The Pirates normally, down through the last several years, have been a very fine fastball hitting club. No balls and a strike. Oliver edging off second. The pitch is a slow curve hammered foul past third base. 0-2. The Doriole infield is straight away here. The outfield has swung to the left, and Robinson is giving Robertson better than 90 feet of the right field line. It is 309 down both lines. 410 straight away. Palmer has his sign now. And the pitch, and he crowds Robertson on that delivery. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it tailed inside, and the fans thought here, Baltimore fans, that might have been on the strike zone. 2-2 the count. I don't think there's any doubt but what Palmer is possessed of the best fastball on the Baltimore pitching staff. He's up to Robertson on a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. And it's driven to left field for the base hit. Oliver's going to try to score. Here comes the throw by Don Buford. They let it come through. It's not in time, and the Pirates lead 1-0. Bobby Robertson drives in his 5th run in the series. Follows up Oliver's double with a line single to left field, and out comes Earl Weaver. So the Buccos strike early here, Jim Simpson. And Weaver out right away. Well, he had Robertson 0-2, then went to 2-2, and the pitch that he wanted to get the decision on, he got it all right, but not the way he wanted it. Now the batter, Manny Sanguin, known as the Road Runner. 6 base hits. On the regular season, batted at .319. Earl Weaver has had his conversation with Jim Palmer. That single by Robertson is the 3rd hit against Palmer. Sanguin with a very heavy bat, almost 40 ounces. Fouls back the first pitch, strike 1. And now there's some activity getting ready out in the Baltimore bullpen. And it is Grant Jackson, a left-hander, that is up. And there's a little looper off the bat into left center for a base hit. Bobby Robertson will stop at second. The Pirates have 2 men on and nobody out. And they are stinging that ball. And Dave Leonard is also up, a right-hander for the Baltimore Orioles. Well, with 2 down in the first inning, Bobby Clemente starts the tremendous triple to left center field. And he was stranded for the 51st runner left by Baltimore pitching. But here in the second inning, Oliver screeched a double down the right field line. Robertson singled him home. Sanguin is singled into left center field, sending Robertson to second. The batter will be Jackie Hernandez. Jackie in with 4 base hits. Brooks Robinson comes up tight looking for the bunt, and Boog Powell likewise at first. The outfield is straight away. From the stretch, Palmer goes. The bunt down off the third base side. Palmer goes to second for the third for the fourth play. Hernandez wanted to get that ball closer down the line to make Brooks Robinson feel the ball. Palmer made a very fine recovery and went right to third base, and that will force Bob Robertson. So Sanguin is at second, and on a force play, Hernandez is at first, And the Orioles still look for a bunt from Bobby Moose, who on the regular season batted at 124. And he slams a foul off the first base side instead. Strike one. Pirates lead 1-0. On 4 hits, the Orioles, no runs on 1 hit. Bucks, very early in the game, turning their lineup over. A slow curve way inside for a ball, 1-1. Palmer doesn't appear today to be going to that real smoke. And he has plenty of that when he's right. 1-1 delivery, and the bunt is pushed off over toward Boog Powell. Has only one play on to second base. Johnson covering a course at first. On the sacrifice, Sanguillen has gone to third. Hernandez into second. So it's 2 down. Remember now, the Pirates all year long have been a great 2-out scoring ball club. In one of the games, they won over in Pittsburgh, 4-0. They scored all 4 runs after 2 were out. Jim Simpson points out that in the game that Palmer defeated Pittsburgh, having only gone 8 innings, he pitched 168. The pitch is Cash, the batter, and he takes a strike. Cash popped up to first on the first pitch in the first inning. They're playing him as a right field hitter. Sanguillen is at third, Hernandez at second, and the sinking delivery low for the ball. A count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Activity continuing in the Baltimore bullpen. Grant Jackson, the left-hander, Dave Leonard, the right-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike. Palmer's delivery is hit foul off third. The count now 1-2. If the Pirates are able to defeat Palmer today, they will have swept 4 20-game winners. A ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2 pitch. And there's a popper hit into shallow center. Coming up fast, Merv Redmond dropping back Johnson. Johnson has it. The Pirates draw the first scoring opportunity with a run on 3 hits, no errors, and leave 2. Going to the bottom of the second, Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore 0.
Hi, Pat Summerall to remind you that good household help is hard to find, except at True Value hardware stores. There you'll find a selection of quality-designed Rubbermaid products to provide helpful convenience all over the house. Use Rubbermaid stackable storage bins to organize kitchen utensils, or in the family room to store small toys and sewing notions. Rubbermaid shower accessories will help keep bathrooms looking neat. Plus, you'll find durable Rubbermaid pitchers, waste baskets, and more at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Robinson leads it off in the Baltimore second. Moose starts him off with a sinking fastball that Robbie fouls at the feet of the plate umpire. Frank is the leading hitter, base hit-wise, but Brooks Robinson's in with 6, Frank in with 7, and Robinson's also had 2 home runs. The outfield will play him around to left, and we have a decided shift on Robinson. Hernandez is almost over where he can shake hands with Hebner. They give him everything up the middle of the diamond in the infield. The 0-1 delivery, swing and a miss, strike 2, took something off that one. Ron Santo of the Chicago Cubs absolutely doesn't want to bat at any time against Moose. He has great success against the Cubs. The 0-2 pitch, curveball struck him out. Now the center fielder Merv Redmond will stand in. Merv batting at .318 on the season, 11 homers and 75 runs batted in. Has had 4 hits in the series with 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. Pittsburgh leading the Baltimore Orioles by the score of 1-0 as we play here in the bottom half of the second inning. They'll play Rettenman to pull. Stargell is deepened and left. And Rettenman steps out as Bobby took just a little too much time. And now Sanguin is making a switch on Oliver, moving him more straight away in center field. Now the pitch. And a fastball fouled back, and that ball was running away from the right-hand batter. Pirates 1 run on 4 hits. Baltimore no run on 1 hit. 1 out in their second inning. Moose again comes to the plate, wasting a fastball low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moose will basically pitch off the first base side of the pitching rubber, but will on occasion move around a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a slow chopper hit down to the shortstop. Hernandez corrals the bad hop, throws low, but held by Robertson. 2 away in the Baltimore second. Batter will now be Brooks Robinson, in with 6 base hits, 272 batting average in the regular season, 20 homers, and 92 runs batted in. Here in the World Series, he has driven in 4 runs. They play him to pull ever so slightly. Now Moose back, a swing and a miss on a breaking pitch outside. No balls, 1 strike. 2 down and on in the Baltimore second. The 0-1 delivery, fastball up around the bill of the cap, and the ball, 1 strike, 1 count. As Jim Simpson pointed out a little earlier, this is nowhere near a sellout here in Baltimore. Lots of empty seats, particularly in the upper deck and partially in the bleachers. 1-1 pitch, sinking low, ball 2, 2-1. Nice balmy day, gray and overcast, very little chance of rain. Ball 2, strike 1 delivery to Brooks, and he started to fish on that one and got the pole out of the water, and it's 3-1. No, that's the deepest in the ball and strike count, 3-1. On the minus side, that Moose has gone to a Baltimore batter thus far. Ball 3, strike 1. Back with a fastball, hit it off the end of the bat. Robertson at first has it, takes him unassisted. And that off-speed stuff is so far very tantalizing to the Orioles. So at the end of 2 innings of play, the Pirates lead Baltimore by the score of 1-0.
Game 6 of the 1971 World Series continues after this.
Nationwide is on your side.
When it comes to life insurance, whether you're single or married, man or woman, buying short-term security or planning for retirement, Nationwide agents are trained to provide the type of insurance you need in an amount you can afford. Call one today.
Phil Zoomer in West Chicago, Mark Granson in Schaumburg, Larry Barnett in Wheaton, Dennis Hartwig in Oak Forest.
Along with Bob Prince, Jim Simpson. Back for the 6th game of the World Series as we go to the top of the 3rd inning, which Pittsburgh leads. 1 run. They've had 4 hits and no errors, and Baltimore's only had a single base hit. That was the leadoff batter, Buford, in the first, who was erased on a double play. Here's Hebner, and here's Bob.
Hebner fly to center field, swings and fouls back on the first pitch. And there's one thing that basically thus far in the game, the Pirates have been going after Palmer early on his deliveries. They're not trying to wait him out. They're going at him. The 0-1 delivery is a curve that missed outside, 1-1. The outfield playing Hebner very much to pull. Hit a 3-run homer against Palmer. Swings on a changeup, 1-2. Ellie Hendricks behind the plate. Flashing out the sign. Now sets out to the left a little bit. And there's Hebner popping this one up into shallow center. Back Belanger, Johnson, in Rettenman. It's going to be shortstop Belanger right in front of Rettenman. And there's 1 away. Now here's Bobby Clemente, who has had, if there's ever been a vendetta, this might be it. He just will not knuckle under, and has now had 10 hits in the series. and has hit safely in every World Series game in which he has participated. 11 years apart, 7 straight games in the 60 series, and of course in all of the games here. Pitch to him from Palmer, and there's a ball hit very deep to right field. Going back for it is Frank Robinson. He's at the wall. He can't get it. It's gone for a home run. Bobby Clemente continues to totally annihilate Baltimore pitching.
And Bob Prince, one of the things that Roberto Clemente does not like about this Baltimore Stadium is there's a group of houses out beyond center field, and the white of the ball comes out of the white of the house. It's very difficult to pick up. But that is the 6th hit in less than 3 ball games that Roberto Clemente has hitting against that poor background. Hate to see him when the background's good.
A strike here to Willie Stargell, a strikeout victim his first time up. And a pitch is high for a ball and a count of 1-1. Clemente now has a triple and a home run to go with Oliver's double. So in the 5 hits, Stargell hits it off the end of the bat down to Belanger, the shortstop. He throws to Boog Powell, and there are 2 away. Clemente's home run is his first in the World Series. Now the batter, Al Oliver, who started the rally in the 2nd inning with a ringing double to right, came in to score when Bob Robertson singled to left. And Palmer starts him off with a curveball, 1-0. I've not seen Jim Palmer work too much, Jim Simpson, but he's working very rapidly. I wonder if he's always been this way. The 1-0 is in there, a let-up, 1-1.
Palmer does work rapidly, but I think the better observation is the one you made, Bob, and that is that he is not throwing the good smoking stuff today. Not too much.
There's a foul back off what looked like the best fastball he's tossed out here this afternoon. A ball and 2 strikes. Just to recap, if you got into the picture now, it's Oliver doubling in the 2nd and scoring, and now Clemente a homer. Big, high, lazy curve ballooning upstairs, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the top half of the 3rd inning with 2 out. 2-2 delivery. Oliver fouls away, and again, Palmer takes something off his fastball. It's almost as if Palmer's trying to pace himself. And as Jim Simpson pointed out, he threw 168 pitches in the first game that he pitched. 2-2 delivery, fouled away again. And the Bucks helped him out by going at those early couple of innings right after anything he fired up there. They lead here 2-0. 2-2 pitch, fouled it back, and Palmer now is having his work cut out. Ball 2, strike 2, and 2 out. They're playing Oliver definitely as a slash hitter to left. He steps out. They give him a lot of territory out up the middle of the diamond and into right center field. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch from Palmer, and it's low, ball 3, 3-2. The on-deck batter, Bob Robertson. 3-2 pitch, and it's hammered off the first base side. Over goes Johnson to his left, waits for Powell at first and throws it over there, and the side is retired. And that's the first time the Pirates have not had a runner stranded in this ball game. They get a run on the home run by Clemente on 1 hit, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and Pirates lead Baltimore by the score of 2-0.
Boy, GM has really put it together this year. Look at that car.
George, we just can't afford it. Do you know how high the prime rate is?
Honey, I don't even know what the prime rate is.
Instead of worrying about the bank prime rate, ask your GM dealer about GMAC. GMAC has financing right now at rates that make sense. So get that new Chevy, Pontiac, Olds, Buick, Cadillac, or GMC truck you want with help from GMAC, the financing people from General Motors.
Because lawns come in all shapes and sizes, so do Lawn Chief mowers from True Value Hardware Stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to suggest you choose from their wide selection to find the mower that best suits your needs. Like the Lawn Chief 3-horsepower 20-inch rotary mower loaded with features for just $139.99. Or the Lawn Chief 22-inch 3.5-horsepower rotary model for larger lawns priced at just $149.99. Lawn Chief mowers have earned the Good Housekeeping seal, and they're sold exclusively by participating True Value hardware stores.
As Roberto Clemente went out to right field, he got a standing ovation. So I would assume, Bob Prince, after what Clemente has said about the Baltimore Memorial Stadium, that the fans in the right field bleachers are down from Pittsburgh.
Yes, they must have come in on the busload. Clemente, by the way, now has 11 base hits, and the record for a 6-game series is 12, held by Billy Martin. Well, here is Baltimore's catcher, Ellie Hendricks, and the Pirates continue their shift against him. Nobody shifted against him like Pittsburgh throughout the season, according to the Pirates scouting reports. Moose pops the fastball right by him, letter high. Hernandez is out just about a step to the first base side of second. You invite him to go to left field. They give him everything to the left field side of that infield. No balls and a strike. And a tailing fastball moved outside, 1-1. Moose surrendered a base hit to Buford in the first inning, and then Johnson hit into an around-the-horn double play from third to second to first. Boog Powell hit the ball rather sharply, but high and deep into right, and Clemente gobbled it up. Then Moose set the Birds down in order in the second, and now works here to Hendricks, a ball and a strike. For the first, Bobby Robertson has it, takes him unassisted. And that's 2 outs in a row for Robertson unassisted. There's 1 down in the Baltimore third, with the Pirates leading Baltimore by the score of 2-0.
The shortstop, number 7, Mike Cuellar.
Mark Belanger, 3 hits in the series. The Baltimore shortstop, batting 8th in the lineup. Moose's fastball missed upstairs, a ball. Shade Belanger a little bit into right. Pirates 2 runs on 5 hits. Baltimore no runs on 1 hit, with 1 out in the third and nobody aboard. And he just dropped that one under his knees for a ball 2 count, 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Mark Belanger. 2-0 delivery. Rushes him back off the plate, and it's 3-0. Now this is the deepest in the ball, no strike count that Moose has gone thus far today in 2 1/3. Belanger on the regular season batted at .266. No homers, 35 runs batted in. Now the 3-0 delivery right down the pipe, and it's 3-1. Jim Palmer, the on-deck batter. 3-1 pitch to Belanger, just underneath. He walked him. So that'll bring up Palmer, who on the regular season batted at .196. Palmer, in the game that he won, Game 2, walked twice to drive in runs, which was somewhat unusual. He walked in the 4th inning of Game 2 to drive in a run. He did likewise in the 5th. Hebner up tight at third, looking to the right-hand batter, and a swing and a miss, strike 1. The regular season, Palmer drove in 9 runs, did not hit any home runs. Pirates lead 2-0 with 1 out and 1 on here in the 3rd. Moose again ready, checks Belanger. Play. No balls, 2-strike pitch. And Palmer shortened up that time as though he was going to bunt. Took a breaking ball outside, so it's 1-2. If you're just tuning in the first inning with 2 out, Clemente tripled. That extended his World Series batting streak to 13 games. He was stranded. And then Oliver led off with a double in the 2nd, and Robertson singled him home, and Clemente homered over the right field wall in the 3rd. 1-2 pitch, Palmer bunts it, and Bobby Moose will go to first base where Cash has it. So on the sacrifice, Belanger moves into 2nd and becomes the first Baltimore base runner to get that far. Well, here's, of course, Earl Weaver, Jim Simpson, trying to just get 1 run in. And that opportunity is presented as Buford, who singled in the first inning, stands in. Then one hit surrendered by Moose. Now the second base runner, Belanger, on a walk. Buford, a left-hand batter. Pirates play him the pull. Sun begins to break out a little bit more, but the lights are still on here at Memorial Stadium. Ebner very close to the line at third. Hernandez almost behind second on Buford. There's a sinking pitch low, ball one. One ball, no strikes. Delivery backed up and went over to the inside corner for a strike. Looked like it was going to be inside to Buford, but the ball just ran out on the plate, and a count of 1-1. Again, Bobby Moose ready. Checks Belanger out at second. Fastball this time, and he missed with it. 2-1. Buford, considered to be one of the finest leadoff batters in all of baseball. Batted on the season at .290, had 19 homers, 54 runs batted in. Ball 2, strike 1. And it's fouled away to the left as he came in on him that time, right in on the thighs. And the count is 2-2. Baltimore has now gone 19 2/3 innings without scoring a run. And Baltimore fans, of course, wonder just how long that can keep up. Now Moose again ready on the 2-2 pitch. And he strikes him out with a fastball right in the wheelhouse. And that is his second strikeout. And so at the end of 3 innings of play, Pittsburgh 2 runs on 5 hits. Baltimore no runs on 1 hit.
When I was a little girl, I remember wearing Salerno butter cookies on my finger, like a ring. We used to eat the petals one by one. But now that Salerno makes so many new things, I wonder what kids do with them.
We tap the ginger snaps loud and clear, and shorten the shortbread down to here. We chip the chocolates one by one, and chomp on the windmills till there's none. We wear the butter cookies as a ring. Thanks, Salerno, for starting this thing. We tame the animals till they give in, and turn the sandwich rings outside in. We wear the butter cookies as a ring. Thanks, Salerno, for starting this thing.
Salerno knows how to make good old-fashioned cookies, and we still make them. Come to think of it, when it comes to quality, you've still got us right where you want us, wrapped around your little finger.
We've got you wrapped around our little finger, around our little finger, Salerno. I got you, Salerno.
WGN Radio is presenting a rebroadcast of Game 6 of the 1971 World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles on WGN Radio in Chicago.
Up 3 games to 2. The Pittsburgh Pirates lead in this ball game by the score of 2-0. And of course, they win today. It is all over. Bob Robertson, Manny Sanguillen, and Jackie Hernandez to face Jim Palmer here in the top of the 4th inning, Bob. And time is running out on the Orioles. And you pointed out something. You can now make it 20 in a row. Baltimore hasn't scored a run.
Well, here's Bob Robertson, who singled and picked up his 4th series hit, driving in his 5th series run. Back in the 2nd inning, that single followed a double by Al Oliver. Palmer delivers, and he's way outside, ball 1. It is 309 now, down both lines, and then it falls out gradually to 360, 390, and 410. The 1-0 pitch is a fastball at the knees, count of 1-1. Baltimore outfield shading Robertson to pull. 1-1 pitch, started to go for it, took it outside and low, and it's ball 2, strike 1. Jim Palmer comes straight overhand. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery. Change-up, hit foul, twisting out of play to the right up into the seats. Pirates lead 2-0 here in the fourth inning. 2-2 delivery. And there's a base hit to left, right in the gap between Robinson and Belanger, and that is the 6th hit of the ball game. And thereafter, Jim Palmer with a vengeance. Now Manny Sanguillen, who singled back in the second inning, will be the batter.
Number 35, Manny Sanguillen.
Sanguillen will be played to the right. The left fielder, Buford, is getting him about 80 feet of the left field line. And Sanguillen, on occasion, when he gets his pitch, has been known to rip ferocious shots right down the left field line. Outside as they pitch him away, ball one. One ball, no strikes. Sanguillen dances to get out of the way of an inside pitch, and it's 2-0. Now there's a little activity getting ready in the Baltimore bullpen. They've been up once already. Ball two and no strikes. Sanguillen hitting a high foul up along first. Boog Powell may have a play. Drifts over and in there, 1 out. The same two men, left-handed Grant Jackson, right-handed Dave Leonard, are up. And I think Jim Simpson, particularly with Dave Leonard, he's pitched as many innings in the bullpen as any of the Baltimore players through the front 5 games. Hernandez, who's been a surprise hitter for the Pirates with 4 base hits. Robertson off first base. Swing and a miss, strike one. Pirates leading 2-0 as they play in the top half of the fourth inning. Hernandez had 3 home runs on the regular season and 26 runs batted in. Drove in most of his runs against Philadelphia and hit all 3 of his home runs against Philadelphia at Veterans Stadium. There's a foul back and a count of strike 2, 0-2. He's from Cuba. He's still trying desperately to get his mother out of Cuba. Most of his brothers and sisters by now have been reared, and he's doing his best to get her out of there. He now resides in Miami, Florida. No balls, 2 strikes. And the 0-2 pitch is a change curve in there for a strikeout. So that is the second strikeout for Palmer, and we'll bring up Bob Moose. Bob bunted in the second inning for a sacrifice. Robertson, the runner at first base. 2 men down. And the Pirates leading by the score of 2-0. Moose being played very definitely as a right field batter. Takes a fastball streaking in at the letters for a strike. Palmer right back with another fastball, this time below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the 1-1 delivery, a hammering swing and a count of a ball and 2 strikes. Sun now beginning to break out. Very pleasant day here in Baltimore. 1-2 pitch, and there's a chopper down to Boog Powell, and he takes it unassisted to retire the side. So the Pirates strand another runner, and that they've done in every inning. So it's no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. And we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 0.
Let a 3-time Indy 500 winner and current national driving champion tell you why he asks for Pennzoil Motor Oil.
Hi, I'm Johnny Rutherford. We use Pennzoil in the race car for top engine protection at high speeds. But in my own car, I want engine protection plus good gas mileage. That's why I'm more of a Pennzoil fan now than ever, because Pennzoil does save gasoline. You see, Pennzoil engineers have made it even more slippery. This means there's less friction where engine metal meets engine metal, so the engine runs easier. And the easier an engine runs, the less gasoline it drinks up.
Johnny Rutherford knows. Gas-saving Pennzoil. There's quality in every extra mile. Available in 10W30 and 10W40.
America has asked for Pennzoil since America learned to drive. Pennzoil, we ask for motor oil. Pennzoil,
Bob Prince. This is Jim Simpson. And the bugle call here at Memorial Stadium is charge for the Orioles. They've not done much charging. In the last 20 innings, Bob, they have had no runs and only 4 hits against Pirate pitchers.
Dave Johnson, who wrapped into a double play back in the first inning, leads it off for Baltimore in the fourth as they present Johnson, Powell, and Frank Robinson. Bobby Moose works to the right-hand batter, right over the plate with a fastball, taking all the way. Pittsburgh leading 2-0. The 0-1 delivery hit foul over to the right out of play. Bobby Moose is most aware of the fact that on deck is Boog Powell, so it behooves him, from the Pirates' standpoint, to keep Johnson off the base path. Leading off here in the fourth. No balls, 2 strikes to Dave Johnson, a very superior second baseman. The 0-2 delivery is pulled back to Moose. He can field his position beautifully. He does, and throws over 1 out. Jim Simpson, I know you've done a lot of football, and you've seen those halfbacks that can give you the leg and take it away and everything. Doesn't Moose remind you much of that?
Terrific, Bob. Great reflexes. You look for reflexes in a third baseman, not that kind of reflex in a pitcher, not that kind of move.
Boog Powell flied out rather deep to right field in the first inning. The infield shift is on. Time has been called. Hernandez wants Ed Sudol to call time. I believe he wants to get his sunglasses readjusted out there. Hebner is a good 30 feet wide of, would be playing what would be the hole position at short on Boog. Bob Moose works to him at a swing and a miss, and that had to hurt his hand. You could just tell right then that hurt that hand. The big fella playing in obvious pain. Best example of how when you swing and miss, you try to throw a golf ball sometime real hard. You just don't have that resistance that you have to have. And that had to hurt Boog that time. No balls and a strike to pitch. And his breaking ball's inside below the knees. The ball 1, strike 1 count. Pirates lead here. 2-0, 1 out, none on in the fourth inning. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. There's a high pop into shallow center. Back goes Hernandez. And he's there. And it's 2 down to Frank Robinson, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Pittsburgh leading 2-0 in the game. That's for them. If they can win, will send them home with their second world championship in 11 years. And in a series almost as unbelievable as the one in which they defeated the Yankees in 1960. A complete reversal of form thus far in the series. So Frank Robinson, the batter. And there's a ball hit out right toward Bobby Clemente. Comes up to get it. And Moose has a very quick 1, 2, 3 innings. We go now to the top half of the 5th inning. The Pirates of Pittsburgh leading the Orioles of Baltimore 2-0.
Game 6 of the 1971 World Series continues after this.
Meet Button Gwinnett, 240 years old, the least known and only living signer of the Declaration of Independence. Mr. Gwinnett.
Call me Button.
Button, to what do you attribute your long life?
An apple a day really worked for me. Early to bed, early to rise helped a lot. More than it helped Ben Franklin, who said that. Did, you know.
I know.
I also avoid unhealthy health habits like the plague.
Anything else?
I try to avoid plagues, too.
Well, today there's a lot of confusion over what's good and bad for health.
It's a mishmash.
Well, that's why the U.S. Public Health Service is offering a free health style checklist. It's designed to clear the air on many health hazards.
We used to have such clear air.
I mean, the booklet helps clear the air of confusion over what's good, what's bad for health.
Well, I took that health style quiz. Oh? With my healthy attitude, I could live another century, give or take a decade.
Great. If you want to get into health, write Health Style, Box 47, Washington, D.C., 20044.
Say it slower. I still write with a quill pen.
Health Style, Box 47, Washington, D.C., 20044.
You want to arm wrestle?
Oh, you're an old man.
I'll take ya.
Top of the 5th inning in the 6th game of the World Series from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. The Pirates, thanks to a double by Oliver and a single by Bob Robertson and a home run by Clemente, lead the Orioles by the score of 2-0 as Dave Cash steps in against the Birds' Jim Palmer. Bob?
Dave Cash up for his 3rd time. 0 for 2. Takes a breaking ball down low. Ball 1. Cash popped up to first in the first inning Popped up to second base in the second inning. This time hit the chopper to the shortstop, Belanger. It's a Bill high hop. He throws on to Boog Powell and is one away. Now Richie Hebner, who flied to center and popped to short, stands in.
Number 20, Richie Hebner.
Palmer to the left-hand batter just tied him up a little bit. He had an inside-out swing that time and fouled it off to the left. A very controlled swing, basically, by Hebner. The 0-1 pitch, and it's high away for the ball. He has tremendous wrists, and basically that's from two things which you've heard much about: playing hockey and digging graves. 1-1 delivery, a swing and a miss, strike two. One ball, two strikes. Palmer right back with a fastball, crowded him right in on the fist, and the count of 2-2. In the second inning, Hal Oliver doubled. Robertson scored him. Then in the third, Clemente home run over the right field pavilion out there, and that made it 2-0. And Clemente has a triple and a home run in as many at bats. Is the leading batter in the series with 11. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Hebner. Jim Palmer, the right-hander, ready. Kicks, delivers, and he's ball 4 upstairs. And now Hendricks is going to strike. They want an appeal. Out comes Earl Weaver. They're going to ask Kibler to appeal to the first base umpire, Nestor Shylock. They're not complaining about the strike. That normally would be automatic ejection from the game. He wants Kibler to look down to Nestor Shylock and get a ruling. It is true that Hebner started his swing and checked off it in the opinion of Kibler. And Palmer has now issued his first walk. Now, in the game that he won, he walked earlier in this series. In the second game, he walked 8. This is the first walk here. So the Buccos again have another man on. They've had a man on in every inning. And here's Bobby Clemente with a triple and a home run. Tripled right up the middle, a tremendous blast, and the home run went over the head of Frank Robinson at the 360 mark and just kept going. In right field. 1 out. Over his head for a ball. That wasn't what you'd call a real knockdown pitch, but it went in over his head, and Clemente has been known on things where you think on a curveball like that. Many observers say you never knock a man down with a curveball, but Magley never heard about that. 1 ball, no strike pitch. And Bobby fouls back. Stepped back a little bit that time. 1-1. That was just a lazy curveball by Jim Palmer that slipped and came in over his head. There was no intention whatsoever to brush him back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hebner at first. Pirates lead 2-0. We're in the 5th. Bobby drives it deep towards center. Merv Retman is right there and has it for the out. So they finally get Clemente out. He made good contact right at Retman. Now with 2 down, here's Willie Stargell. Willie is 0 for 2. Has been ominously quiet as far as Pirate fans are concerned. He hit 48 home runs in the regular season. Pittsburgh leading 2-0 with 2 down, a runner on here in the 5th inning. And Palmer upstairs to him, ball 1. This game moving right along thus far as both Palmer and Moose waste no time in coming to the plate with their pitches. Now the 1-0 to Stargell, tailed to the outside corner for a called strike, and it's 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Quick throw to first, and Bobby Robertson, or rather Richie Hebner, is back. A very little move on the part of a runner at first for Stargell up there. The 1-1 delivery. A change in there. Strike 2. 1-2. Pirates have 2 runs on 6 hits. Orioles no runs on 1. Again, Jim Palmer ready. 1-2 to Stargell. A swing and a miss. He struck him out on a fastball. And again, the Pirates strand a runner. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. And we go to the bottom half of the fifth, and the Pirates lead the Orioles 2-0.
Your lawn could die of thirst this summer if it has to depend on the weather to get the water it needs. So be sure you've got quality hoses you can depend on from True Value hardware stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you True Value nylon reinforced vinyl hoses are designed to stand up to the heat and remain flexible in cold weather. And right now you can get their 60-foot True Value hose for $9.99 or the super rugged 75-foot length for $14.99. Both have 5/8-inch inner diameter and are available only from participating True Value hardware stores.
As Merv Redmond steps to the plate, here's the voice of NBC Sports, Jim Simpson.
Thanks, Bob Prince. Bob moves his first pitch, cut on and fouled by Redmond. Strike one. As we go to the last of the fifth inning, 2-0, the Pirates. Moves right back with a fastball. It's too high. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Orioles have now gone 21 World Series innings with no runs and have only 4 hits over those 21 innings. Lose today and it's all over. They head for Tokyo to play an exhibition series over there, not as the world champions if they lose today, but rather as the runners-up in the World Series. Bob Moose, the 6th different Pittsburgh starting pitcher in 6 World Series games. Back ready again, breaking pitches a strike. And at the letters, this was done by the Dodgers years ago. They started 6 different starters against the Yankees, and then Johnny Potteries came back in the 7th game to beat them. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Redmond, the right-handed batter, swings at a breaking pitch, and it's fouled off to the left toward the Oriole dugout and goes into the dugout. Pirates have their 2 runs on 6 hits, one of them a home run by Roberto Clemente, who has also tripled. And Baltimore's leadoff batter in the first inning, Buford single, erased on a double play. There's been 1 base runner since. That was Mark Belanger in the 3rd, who walked. Lights are still on. They have been, and what sun we had is now gone. Breaking pitch is too high. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bob Prince told you both Jim Palmer and Bob Moose, currently on the mound, are working very fast. Both have shown exceptional control thus far, and that is Moose's strong suit. Not the blazing fastball, but excellent control. 2-2 pitch. It's up and then tight. Ball 3. Strike 2 to Merv Redmond. Redmond has that 3-run homer in the World Series. Hernandez, the shortstop, plays Redmond to hit the ball up the middle, plays it over near second base. Big gap between Hernandez, the shortstop, and Hebner at third. Moose back 3-2, foul to the screen. Redmond third in the American League this year behind Tony Oliva and Bobby Mercer in hitting with a .318 average. Baltimore all year long employing a 4 outfielder system. The 4th man not playing today, great center fielder Paul Blair. Back with a 3-2 pitch again. Ground ball up the middle. Back for a backhanded play as Cash will throw to first. He's got it. Dave Cash roaming far to his right to backhand the ball near second base on the grass. Wheeled and through and got Redmond, who has pretty good speed getting down to first base. And here is Brooks Robinson. Robinson grounded to Robertson to end the 2nd inning, fooled on a breaking pitch, grounded it up the right side of the infield. 1 out in the last of the 5th. Moose throws him a fastball. This one is hit to the right, base hit to right field. Second hit off Bob Moose. And here comes Ellie Hendricks, the big, strong home run hitting, left-handed hitting Baltimore catcher. Roberto Clemente backs up a few steps out in right field. Oliver switches over to right center field. And Hernandez goes almost to second base from the shortstop position. Pirate bullpen begins to get busy. A swing of Hendricks' bat, and we've got a brand new ball game. Bob Johnson up and throwing. He was a starter here. Breaking pitch down low and away. Tanguy tapped it. Ball 1 to Hendricks. And Luke Walker, who has also started the game. 2 former series starters are now warming up in the Bucco bullpen. First time that's been active. Danny Murtaugh doesn't want to let this game get away. Baltimore is trying to get back in the game. The pitch in low. It is ball 2 to Hendricks. Brooks Robinson on at first with 1 out in this 2-0 ball game. We are in the last of the 5th. Now, Hernandez has actually shifted to the first base side of second base. He's moved over a couple of more steps. 2-0 the count. Moose throws, pops up, foul, probably will get out of play, but Hebner's going to come over and see near the Oriole dugout, but it's at least 5 rows back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Billy Hunter, the third base coach of the Orioles, was telling Richie, forget it, don't go after it. But Hebner, you'll recall, for the final out in that 5-1 ball game, the beauty pitched by Steve Blass on Tuesday up in Pittsburgh, climbed up into the seat and made a catch for the big out in the 9th inning. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hendricks waits. Moose out of the stretch. Fastball drilled to center field. Oliver was over to right center. Now comes over to left center. Taps his glove and takes it for the second out. Baltimore in the 3rd game had 3 base hits. They lost that game. In the 4th game, which they lost, they had 4 hits. In game 5 against Nelson Briles, they've only could manage 2 hits. And here today, they have 2 more hits. That's a total of 11 hits since game 3. Mark Belanger walked on a 3-1 pitch back in the 3rd. Rich Robinson still on at first base. Now 2 out of the last of the 5th of this 2-0 ball game. It just misses outside. Fastball, strike 1. They play Belanger, who had no home runs at all during the 1971 season. A little bit around to right to hit to the opposite field and very shallow. Moose back inside this time, 2-0. Well, he went 2-0 on Hendricks and then got him on the line drive to left center field. Brooks Robinson hit the first pitch he saw of the 5th inning. He's on at first base with a base hit. Moose ready, throwing 2-0. It is in under the hands. Inside, it is ball 3. No strike. Palmer is on deck. Nobody is warming in the Oriole bullpen. But, of course, ball 4 here could change Earl Weaver's strategy, as Brooks Robinson would move down to second base, and Mark Belanger, the tying run, could be on at first. 3-0, and he's taking all the way, and he takes a strike. Now he steps out to look down to Billy Hunter again to see whether or not he should take again. On 3 balls, 1 strike. Robinson moves off at first base. Not being held on the bag by Robertson. Pitched up under his chin, ball 4. Brooks Robinson goes down to second. Mark Belanger with a second walk of the ball game. And with 2 outs, Jim Palmer will hit for himself. Earl Weaver not going to his bench for hitting strength with 2 out, and Brooks down at second, and Mark Belanger on at first. But Palmer, a 20-game winner. Great fastball. And this ball game is not out of hand yet. At 2-0, Weaver's decided to keep him rather than to go to his bullpen. Last time up, Palmer sacrificed. Takes ball 1, it's inside. Palmer looks down to Billy Hunter. And they might have Jim taking a few pitches along the way here. See if he can't get aboard with the walk. As Bob Prince told you, he walked twice to drive in runs in the game that he won last Monday, 11-3. Swinging, though, and it's foul back to the screen and runs up under our booth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Johnson, the right-hander, Luke Walker, the left-hander, still out in the Pirate bullpen. Johnson started the second game against Palmer, and of course Luke Walker started that night game on Wednesday. Swing and a miss, set a change, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. It was Walker that Bruce Kison relieved on Wednesday night and did such a superb job in winning the 4th game of the World Series. Moose in his first real jam. First time Baltimore has had a couple of base runners in the ball game. And he strikes out Palmer and is out of the jam. Palmer strikes out with Robinson at second and Belanger on at first. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left. He's run 5 full innings. The Pirates 2, Baltimore nothing.
Game 6 of the 1971 World Series continues after this.
Marvelous melons. That's what you'll find in Jewel's Farm Stand Market. Look for our bright yellow canary melons. They're extra sweet and juicy. Surprise yourself with Santa Claus melons. They look like watermelon outside and honeydew inside. Choose pink-fleshed Persians, cool golden cassavas, and of course you want the favorite, cantaloupe. Scoop out half and crown it with sweet ice cream. It's the nicest way to cool a hot summer day. Through Wednesday, large cantaloupe, net weight 28 ounces, are only 59 cents each. And for hot cakes or shortcake or whatever you please, our plump and ripe farm stand blueberries are the best. Through Wednesday, they're only 79 cents a pint. All of these summer delights and more are waiting for you now to enjoy one of each or a basketful from the Farm Stand Market at Jewel. That's some pickings.
WGN Radio is presenting a rebroadcast of Game 6 of the 1971 World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles on WGN Radio in Chicago.
Jim Simpson along with Bob Prince and the Boo. They have, as they clear the bases here and drag that infield at the end of the 5th inning, a young, pretty young girl by the name of Linda Wareheim, who will go around and sweep off each of the bases, and then she will go to the third base coach, and most of the time she will kind of dust his shoes. But some of the time, as she did down here last Monday, she will sweep dirt onto the opposing coach's shoes. The boo you heard was that Frank Osiak, the third base coach, just waited until young Linda Wareheim disappeared down the left field line before he decided to come out. Well, the Orioles have had 2 men on base, or had 2 men on base, for the first time since the first inning of the 4th game when they scored 3 runs. Of course, Earl Weaver did not go to his bench, allowed Palmer to bat for himself, and he struck out swinging. And that threat, for the first time they've had that kind of threat since the 4th game, has gone right down the drain. Here's Al Oliver, who has doubled and scored ahead of Robertson single in the 2nd inning, and grounded out in the 3rd inning. Strike 1, fouled off. Palmer wants a new baseball. Big Bob Robertson, who is 2 for 2 today in his home state of Maryland, waits on deck. 2-0, the Pirates. Palmer back and throws a fastball. Left field. Buford trots a few steps over and back to his left and takes it for the first out. And here's Robertson. Drove in the run. Al Oliver, who had doubled to right center with a base hit in the 2nd, and singled to lead off the 4th and was left there as the next 3 men went down in a row before Jim Palmer. They played Big Bob, an uppercut swinger way around to the left. Lem is a pull hitter, although the infield does not shift against him. And there's a swinging foul tip. Strike 1. John Kibler behind the plate today. Nestor Shylock, who will be behind the plate if there is tomorrow, down at first base. Ed Sudol at second, John Rice, the umpire, at third, Ed Vargo along the left field line, and Jim Odom along the right field line. Change, and it's out of the strike zone. Too high to Bob Robertson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Palmer ready, throws a fastball, pops up, may get out of play, and does to the right behind the Pittsburgh dugout, very deep in the seat. Robertson drove in Sanguillen in the 2nd, the other Pittsburgh run, and the only other one of the ball game came in the 3rd when Roberto Clemente hit a home run to right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Palmer throws, line drive right at Mark Belanger's shortstop. 2 down. Robertson hit the ball very hard. Had he moved it one side or the other, questionable whether or not Belanger could have gotten it, but it was right to it. Here's Manny Sanguillen. Blooped a single into center in the 2nd inning and fouled out to Boog Powell in the 4th. 1 for 2. Van Gien, as you know by now, listening or watching the World Series, is not up there to take a lot of pitches. He is up there to swing, and swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. Van Gien has stayed true to form in this World Series. He's been at bat 21 times officially and hasn't walked once. Strike one pitch is a breaking pitch way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Van Gien. .319 hitter during the regular season. Has a lifetime average of better than 300. Palmer working very fast. High fastball fouled at the plate by Van Gien. Palmer's fastball is a high fastball. And, of course, the National League umpires are, well, it's a low ball league is what it is. And Palmer, in his other game last Monday, had a little trouble with his control. He's had back problems, and until he gets that back loose and relaxed, the ball stays much too high. And, of course, he walked a bundle of people. 8. Little chopper, Belanger, shortstop, ready. Throws on to first to get the speedy Van Gien, but Powell's foot is off the bag. Safe. Van Gien is one of the quickest catchers we've seen in recent years. Danny Murtaugh, in talking about it, that's the base hit they give him, say he simply beat it out. Danny Murtaugh, talking about Van Gien on the Pittsburgh bench the other day, was saying that, believe it or not, Walker Cooper, when he came up with the Cardinals years ago, was faster than Van Gien. And so Van Gien is on with the 7th base hit. And Boog Powell, who is kneeling in foul territory off first base to retie his right shoe, I think is also saying something to Nestor Shylock, the first base umpire. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Pirates, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors for Baltimore. Bob Prince and I have a television monitor in our booth, and they replayed it, and it was close. Oh, so close. Jack Hernandez, who bunted into a force play in the 2nd and looked at a changeup curve drop over for strike 3 in the 4th, is up.
On this monitor, Boog Powell's having all kinds of trouble getting his right shoe back on, and I'm sure it's happened to many air travelers who take their shoes off and about 4 hours later find their feet have swollen a little bit. Can't get the shoe on. Boog is still operating. He's had to unlace that entire matter to get that right foot re-encased with the Baltimore cleat.
You know, there's a story that Bobby Goldsboro, the entertainer, tells Bob about Boog Powell when he was playing for Key West. Bobby was playing for a team up in northern Florida, and when they came up, they didn't know how to stop the pitching of George Meyer, now in the National Football League as a quarterback, and the hitting of Boog Powell. And I'll tell you about what happened in a moment. Here's the pitch to Hernandez. It's a strike. They figured the only way that Boog could not hurt him is if he did not play. So they swiped his shoe. And the manager of the Key West team refused to play against Bobby Goldsboro's team until they got some shoes, so they went down and got a sporting goods store owner to open up his store, give him the biggest pair of tennis shoes he had in the place. He played, and I asked Bobby, how'd he do? He said, there's still 2 home runs somewhere in orbit over northern Florida. True story. 1 strike to count to Hernandez as Palmer checked over, keeping Van Gien, who has stolen a couple of bases here. He has to dive back now. He has stolen 2 bases in this World Series. And the word is around the Pirate bench, when they get a man on base, they're liable to let him go at any time. They have had great success in running against the Baltimore catching. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore nothing. We are in the top of the 6th of the 6th game. And the way it's going now could be the last. Hernandez, straightaway center field. Retman has to come in. Johnson goes out now, and he is the one that takes it in short right center field. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, and now the Pirates in this series have left 56 men on base. We go to the last of the 6th. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore nothing.
With Jim Simpson, Bob Prince from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, in the 6th game of the World Series, which can be over if the Pirates can win it. We'll go to the 7th. Baltimore comes back. In the ball game thus far, it's Pittsburgh 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Baltimore, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. As Don Buford leads it off, Bob Moose is pitching, and here's Jim Simpson.
Thanks, Bob Prince. 22 innings now. The Orioles have gone without a run in this World Series. Buford led off the ball game with a single, later a race on a double play, and struck out swinging at a fastball in the third. Bob Moose, the sixth different Pirate starter, has them 2-0 and throws the fastball that's too low. It's ball one to Buford. Hebner, knowing Buford's percentage better than 41% of the times as the leadoff batter he got on base in 1971. That's the kind of leadoff batter he is. Hebner comes in at third base. Back with the fastball. It's fouled back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Orioles only have 2 hits. And since they left Baltimore last Monday to go play up in Pittsburgh, they've only had a total of 11 hits. They had 14 singles in that second game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking pitch. Hits something off of it. It stays outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Don Buford. With Davy Johnson swinging a bat, kneeling on deck. Hernandez over near second base, the shortstop. Fastball, it's too high. It's 3 balls, 1 strike. Moose has walked 2 men, or I should say 1 man, twice. Mark Belanger in the third and the fifth. Other than that, his control has been excellent. Now he's 3-1 on Buford, who takes all the way and takes the strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bob told you, Moose, if you take away those intentional walks that he gave up throughout the season, averaged surrendering less than 2 runs per 9 innings. But Bob Moose averaged giving up 10 hits per 9 innings. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pulled foul into the seats down the right field line. Bounces back out onto the playing field, and Roberto Clemente will have to retrieve it. If there is to be a 7th game, it will take place at 2 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. Baltimore's laws prevent the starting of a sporting event on a Sunday before 2 p.m. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Buford. Now the Baltimore fans realize they got to get in business and begin to clap it up. Comes back with a fastball. Drive deep to right field, but Clemente is back watching as it goes. Don Buford, who hit a home run off Bob Moose in his his first appearance in the series, has come back with his second home run off Bob Moose. Deep to right field. It's a 2-1 ball game. And so elated was Billy Hunter. Here is Johnson taking strikes. So elated was third base coach Billy Hunter that he moved out into the baselines, and Buford almost tripped and fell over him as he trotted around third base. Moose working very fast. Back with a breaking pitch. High. Hebner breaks off third base. Can't hold on to it. Safe. Johnson and Walker continue to warm up. Would have been a difficult play for Hebner. The ball bounced once behind the mound, and it is an error for Hebner. Left-hander Luke Walker, right-hander Bob Johnson up and throwing again. 2-1. The Orioles now realize that they've got a whale of a chance. They go all the way to the 7th game. They're down by a run. We are just in the last of the 6th. And here comes Big Boog Powell, who's only had 2 hits and 20 times at bat and 1 RBI. Battling those torn fibers in the back of his right hand, but still with lots of power. Left-hander against the right-hander Moose. Moose throws, and Powell grounds one foul down the first base line and rolls out. Bangs off the tarpaulins, rolled up in short right field. 1 strike to Powell. Hernandez over on the first base side of second. Hebner playing about where the shortstop in the hole would be. And he's the only man between second and third. Powell, a dead pull hitter. Moose throws. It's in under the hands. Too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore fans hoping, of course, that the powerful Boog Powell, who hit 22 home runs to drive in 90 runs, from the stretch, Moose throws in under the hands again with a fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Orioles have their first run after 22 consecutive scoreless innings. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking pitch misses. It's 3-1, and Bob Moose puts hands on hips and stares in at John Kibler. Still standing there, Stan Guillen turning around. Asking for a change of decision from Kibler. Do you know what those chances are? It is 3 balls, 1 strike. Let's see if Boog Powell, with all of that power, despite that hurt hand, gets the green light on 3-1. With Frank Robinson on deck. He's swinging, grounds it foul, and toward the Pirates dugout. It's 3-2. Powell has always made contact, well, nearly always throughout the series, despite the fact he only has 2 hits. A big slugger like that has only struck out 1 time in 20 times at bat. The 3-2 pitch. Ground ball inside the bag, under the glove of Robinson, all the way around second and on the way to third is Dave Johnson. Clemente up with the ball and throws behind Powell to run at first. They got runners at the corners, first and third, with none out. Comes Bill Burton, Danny Murtaugh's right-hand man, and with Frank Robinson due up, this may be all for Bob Booth. Luke Walker and Bob Johnson have been throwing. The tying run is 90 feet away with none out, put on there by Hebner's there at third base, and advanced to third by Boog Powell, single to right on the 3-2 pitch.
With Jim Simpson, Bob Prince here in Baltimore, and Baltimore fans now have a lot to roar about, as Bob Moose is going to have to leave the ball game, and Bob Johnson is coming in. On the regular season, Johnson won 9 and lost 10. Has had good success against the Baltimore Ball Club, but now is right in the heart of the order with Frank Robinson, Merv Redmond, and Brooks Robinson to come up. Runners at first and third and nobody out. An error charged to Hebner, as Jim Simpson described, right now a very costly one, because if he comes up with that ball on Johnson, he can play off the bag on Boog Powell, and there's no way his ball is going to get by unless there is another error. Moose is saying something to John Kibler. He thought he had Boog Powell struck out, and he's telling him about it on his way out. But in a game such as this in the World Series, of course, everything is right down to the nitty-gritty. And so Bob Johnson comes on, and Bob Moose has gone 5 innings. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Thus far has allowed but 1 run, has surrendered a total of 4 base hits, has struck out 3 and walked a pair. He can win the game. He cannot, well, he could also lose it. So Johnson, of course, has the tough job here going in this situation. Jim Simpson against a very tough batter who at least is a very distinct threat to throw the game into a tie with a fly ball.
Bob Johnson continues his warm-ups, and Frank Robinson, and quite a story we have revolving about the World Series other than the obvious, in that the Pirates thus far have won more games than the Orioles, and that is the little byplay going on between Frank Robinson of Baltimore supporting his field, and Roberto Clemente, another superstar from the Pirates, saying that Memorial Stadium isn't much. Now, Clemente today has the upper hand and a triple and a home run, and now Robinson can kind of tie things up here, or even put the Orioles ahead. As Frank Robinson, the only man ever to be the most valuable player in both major leagues, steps in. He struck out at a curveball in the 2nd and lined to Clemente in right, hitting the first pitch in the 4th. 2-1 the score. The Pirates. Johnson, the tying run on at 3rd. Powell, the go-ahead run at 1st. None out. 6th inning. 6th game of the World Series. Johnson, a big, tall right-hander, looks over at first base and now throws to Robinson, hits the first pitch. He pops it up. Hernandez says he's got it at shortstop. And on 1 pitch, Bob Johnson gets Frank Robinson on a high pop-up to the shortstop. Now Merv Redmond was grounded out twice. Right-handed batter. Comes in, Bob Robertson yelling something to Bob Johnson, who strides off the mound to hear what it is he has to say. The infield is not playing in. To get Johnson the runner now with Boog Powell, rather slow run on at first base. They are going to look for the double play. Retman twice has hit the ball on the ground. Powell does not have great speed. Retman has good speed. Johnson to throw the ball. It's a strike on the outside corner. 2 runs on 7 hits for the Pirates. They've committed an error. We don't know whether or not yet it is a costly one. It has at least put Pittsburgh in the hole for the moment. 1 run on 4 hits for Baltimore, and they're knocking at the door in the 6th. Trying to tie it up. Johnson throws. It's another strike. 2 called strikes Retman has taken. Both of them about letter high on the outside corner. Johnson throws a slider and a curve and a fastball. As Bob said, he had excellent luck and good fortune pitching against the Orioles while with Kansas City in the American League a year ago. Johnson now out ahead of Retman, 0-2. He can afford to move the ball around a little bit. Comes in, misses outside, waits pitch with his fastball, low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walker and now Bob Miller warming up for the Buccos. Miller, a right-hander, replacing Johnson, who has come on to replace the starter Bob Moose. Ready? Called out on strike. Fastball on the outside corner. Well, the Orioles, charged with lack of aggressiveness at the plate in these last 3 games, popped out and took a 3rd called strike with a tying run at third base. Now it is up to Brooks Robinson, and Bill Burton's going to come out to say something to Bob Johnson about Robinson. Perhaps, Bob, to remind him of the scouting report on Brooks, because Robinson is probably the most dangerous of all the Oriole hitters in the late innings. Aside from that wonderful glove and great reflexes Brooks Robinson has, he is a clutch hitter. And the hero of the 1970 World Series now has a chance to give the Orioles some life at the 1971 World Series. Johnson at third, Powell at first, now with 2 outs. And Bob Johnson, thus far, working on a great relief job. Robinson takes a curved ball for a strike, drops right over. Brooks Robinson holds on to that bat all the way down to the bottom. He's not up there to poke the ball to right or left. He said Miller and Walker continue to warn. 2-1 the score. Last of the 6th. Best chance the Orioles have had since the first inning of Game 3 in Pittsburgh. Johnson back to throw. Ground ball right to Hebner. Hebner goes to second base for the 4th. And how about that? Bob Johnson came on with Johnson at third. Davy Johnson moved Powell at first. And none out and got a 1-2-3. Nobody scores. We've gone through 6 complete innings. And at the end of 6, the Pirates still lead 2-1 over Baltimore.
I plan on living a long and healthy life, so I get regular cancer checkups. You see, the best time to get a checkup is before you have any symptoms. So please, take care of yourself now. Find out which tests are necessary for you and when you should have them done. Because if you're like me, you've got lots of plans and want to live long enough to do it all. Ask for the American Cancer Society pamphlet, the new Cancer Checkup Guidelines. Call 800-572-1021.
If it's rare, everybody else wants it, right? Not really. There's one thing that only one person in 80 genetically carries and nobody else wants. That's RP, retinitis pigmentosa. RP is an inherited disease that causes night blindness, tunnel vision, and sometimes total blindness in children and young adults. This is Robert Merrill. For more information, contact your local RP chapter or the National RP Foundation, Box 5773, Baltimore, 21208. Thank you.
WGN Radio is presenting a rebroadcast of Game 6 of the 1971 World Series, featuring Frank and Brooks Robinson, Don Buford, and Jim Palmer for the Orioles, Dave Cash, Manny Seguin, and the great Hall of Famer, the late Roberto Clemente.
On your scoreboard, as we go now into the 7th inning, it's Baltimore, 1 run on 4 hits. And on Bob Moose, that run will be an earned run.
because of the home run by Don Buford. His second, as Jim Simpson told you, against Bob Moose. Moose can win the game. Johnson can pick up the save. The Pirates have 2 runs on 7 hits and lead now by the home run by Clemente. Jim Simpson.
Jim Palmer throws a strike on the outside corner, letter high to Bob Johnson, who did a superlative job in the last of the 6th. And Frank Robinson on the pop-up. There's a ground ball toward the shortstop. Belanger up with it. He's got plenty of time. It allows Johnson to run just a little bit before he releases the ball and throws him out. Well, we've been talking about the fact that Pittsburgh throughout the series has left 56 men on base. Baltimore in the last 2 innings has left 2 men on base. They allowed Palmer to bat with runners at first and second in the 5th, and he struck out. And with runners at first and third in the 6th, they couldn't do anything about that. That was a fine pitching job by Bob Johnson. 2-1. Here's Cash. Palmer ready to throw. Fastball low and away. Ball 1. Dave Cash popped out in both the first and second innings and then grounded to short in the 5th. 0 for 3. Seventh inning. Palmer's gone all the way. High fastball, and it's 2-0. Pat Dobson has now begun to throw. He was the start in the 4th game on Wednesday night. Out in the Baltimore bullpen. Palmer throws again. Catches the inside corner. Strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. 11 years ago, Bob Prince went down to the dressing room just in case the Pirates won it. They won it. He didn't see Mazeroski's home run. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's down low 3-1. And in another inning, if the score stays like this, Bob Prince is going to have to leave us again and go down to the Pirate dressing room. And who knows, maybe there won't be a celebration today. And he won't see it again. 3-1. Back to the fastball right at the knees. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Cash. Palmer's been working rapidly all along. Fastball, 1 big hop to Belanger. Handcuffs him a bit. Now throws on to Powell, and there's 2 out in the Pittsburgh 7th. That'll bring up Rich Hebner, who slid to center, popped to the shortstop, and walked on a disputed call that Earl Weaver argued, thinking that Hebner had actually not checked his swing on ball 4, but John Kibler looked down to first base, Nestor Charlock, and over to third to John Rice, and they supported his theory. Blown away from Hebner, ball 1. Clay Dalrymple has raced from the bullpen into the dugout. He is the 3rd Baltimore catcher, veteran of the National League. 1 ball, no strikes. Hebner right up through the middle, but Belanger's playing him over near second base and throws him out, and Palmer has one of his easier innings. As Belanger retires all 3 men, the runs, hits, or errors, and Baltimore comes back for another shot in the last of the 7th. With the score, the Pirates 2, the Orioles 1.
You know, Mr. Howell, this old car of yours takes more gas than anybody else's in town.
No.
Ever think of trading it in? With all that chrome, it ought to be worth a lot.
Yeah, but look, who can buy a new car with the prime rate so high?
If the bank prime rate is scaring you out of a new car or truck, ask your GM dealer about GMAC. GMAC has financing right now at rates that make sense. So get that new Chevy, Pontiac, Olds, Buick, Cadillac, or GMC truck you want with help from GMAC, the financing people from General Motors.
Bush, St. Louis.
With Jim Simpson, Bob Prince from Memorial Stadium, and we got a ball game going here. Baltimore trailing 1 run to 2, but come up with the lower third of the lineup, and Hendricks, Belanger, and maybe a pinch batter for Palmer. Here's Jim Simpson.
Bob Johnson, retired 3 men in a row with nobody out and runners at first and third to save the lead, is ready to work to Hendricks, and it's too low, ball 1. On deck is Belanger, and we have noticed that not only has Clay Dalrymple come in from the Baltimore bullpen to the dugout, but Dave Jusky and Bob Deal have gone out to the Pittsburgh bullpen. Long foul down the right field line. Pulled away foul. The pitch was in on Hendricks' hands, and he pulled it to right. So Jusky, with those 30 saves during the regular season, 3 in the championship playoff, and he has pitched excellent ball here in the World Series. has gone down along with Bob Beal. Big breaking pitch outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Hendricks. The last inning in which Palmer got the Pirates 1-2-3, snapped the Pittsburgh streak of a base runner for at least 20 consecutive innings. 2 balls, 1 strike. Popped up. Left side. Stargell comes in very shallow in left field and now takes it for the first out. Mark Belanger, as Palmer with his jacket on walks out to the on-deck circle. 2 runs on 7 hits and a harmless error for the Pirates. 1 run on 4 hits for Baltimore. Bob Moose has departed, and departed leading 2-1. Jim Palmer has not yet left. Both men pitching fine ball games. Bob Johnson throws. It's a strike at the knees to Belanger, who has walked twice. Johnson, the big man, ready to throw, and throws again. In on the 5th and fouled off upstairs to the right. 2 strikes to Mark Belanger. Kelly Bryles, who pitched such a fine game on Thursday, was warming up for a National League Championship playoff against the Giants. Said he couldn't do it, and Bob Johnson got up off the bench, went down, warmed up, and beat the Giants with a superlative performance. Accidentally fouls the ball back. Belanger trying to check his swing. It's still 2 strikes. Playing Belanger short and a little around to the right. Johnson ready with a 2-strike pitch. Throws, it's off the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There are a great number of Pirate fans here. There's another ball. This one gets by Sanguin under his glove, rolls to the screen, 2-2. And of course you heard that there are a great number of Baltimore fans here as they went to work in the last inning when Baltimore looked as though they were going to tie it up and maybe go ahead.
WGN Radio, Chicago.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out in the 7th. Johnson back with the fastball, grounded to the right side. That's going to make it through to the outfield. Tying run. Mark Belanger at first base, and Palmer is going to come up. Well, is he or not? He is standing with his... He is taking off his jacket. And if he is to come up, it is obviously with one thing in mind, and that is do what he did back in the 3rd inning. Move that runner along and give Buford a chance to tie it up. Palmer swinging the bat, looking down to Billy Hunter. Hebner's already in on the grass at 3rd base. Robertson holding against the runner, Belanger, who has good speed. On the home plate side of first base, ready to break in at the pitch. Justy is up and throwing. Palmer squares around, takes the strike, does not offer at the pitch. Strike 1. Danny Murtaugh pulling out all the stops, as Earl Weaver must do if he is to stop the Pirates and get back in this World Series and send it on to a 7th game. Score is 2-1. We're in the last of the 7th. A little lob throw to first base just to keep Mark Belanger close. Hebner stationed all 6 or 7 feet in on the grass, creeping in all the time. Palmer squares around a bunt, misses at it. Sanguin looks down to first baseman Nestor Chilak, who says nope, he did not offer at the pitch. It is ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanguin now looks down to 3rd base umpire, John Rice. Of course, he was blocked, and now Jim Palmer says, I'm not quite sure of that signal, Billy Hunter, and walks off to hear what it is Hunter wants him to do. Palmer has his instructions on 1 ball, 1 strike. Steps back in. One out, last of the 7th. Johnson ready, looks over at Belanger. Throws. He looked as though he was going to swing, and Sanguin thought not that he had swung, but rather that the ball was in the strike zone. It was not. 2 balls, 1 strike. Palmer again staring down to Hunter. Pirates lead it by a run. They've got the tying run at first. Johnson ready. The ball is low, and he did not offer it again, and it's 3 balls, 1 strike. Palmer again staring to Hunter, and Johnson cutting it a little fine, although on 2 occasions, Sanguin thought that Bob Johnson, his pitcher, had strikes. Couple of conferences. Van Gien with Johnson, Palmer with Hunter.
It's obvious right here, Jim Simpson, that Bob Johnson has only one thing to do. That's throw a strike. He doesn't dare walk Palmer if he can help it.
And the question becomes, what has Palmer been told? Johnson ready, Palmer there, and takes the strike. Made no attempt to swing or to bunt. And steps out again to look down to Billy Hunter. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He bunted on a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch back in the 3rd. It's not beyond the realm of possibility now. He squares around the bunt again. Strike 3, he's called out, and now Palmer's hot. Second strikeout for Bob Johnson, and here comes Tom Buford. Last time up, Buford helped Moose along the way to the showers when he hit a ball high and deep to right for a home run. The Orioles' only run of the ball game. Buford is 2 for 3. He has 2 of the 5 Baltimore hits. Hernandez goes down near second base from the shortstop position, and Hebner remains in on the grass. At third base, Buford with great speed, former fine football player at Southern Cal. Johnson throws him a curveball, and it's a beauty, strike 1. Buford watched it drop over. Since the 5th inning, Baltimore has had Pittsburgh in trouble. They still trail by a run. Until the 5th inning, Baltimore went rather quietly with just 1 base hit and a walk over the first 4. Johnson with the sign. Van Gien moves to the outside of the plate, and they throw it outside with a fastball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. The 2 Pittsburgh runs. Oliver doubled to lead off the second. Bob Robertson singled him home. In the 3rd, Roberto Clemente got his second hit, a home run to right field. That's the Pirates 2, the Orioles 1, Buford's home run. Mark Belanger still down at first base, 2 out last of the 7th. Johnson ready to throw the 1-1 pitch. It's a change down low, inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. On deck is Dave Johnson. A win by the Orioles today. We're back tomorrow at 1:45 Eastern Time of the 7th and decisive game of the World Series. A win by the Pirates today, and we all go home. There goes the runner on 2-1. High ball. Van Gien's throw is down, not in time. Bounce once, Cash, or rather Hernandez took it on the high bounce, and Belanger stole second base. Well, there's a leaf out of the Pirates notebook from an earlier game this week when they tried to bunt the runner over. Here comes Bill Burden out. They tried to bunt the runner over. Did not do it, and Hernandez on the next pitch to the next man stole second. Burden is coming out and is calling for a different pitcher. Now, Buford, remember, is a switch hitter. Well, whether they bring in a left-hander or right-hander, they're simply going to turn Buford from one side of the plate to the other. They won't get rid of him. It is 3 balls, 1 strike, and with the count 3-1, Bob Prince, they're going to go to the bullpen.
Yes, it is going to be Dave Jesse with the palm ball, and I think Danny Murtaugh here is making the determination he'd rather have Buford up there batting right-handed than he would left-handed, and particularly since, basically speaking, with the sinking pitch and the palm ball that Jesse has, he can induce Buford to turn around and go that way. But as you also pointed out, in the event that he walks Buford, that walk would be charged to Johnson. That's the first steal by the Orioles of this series. And normally, you don't steal on Van Gien, but that time the matter picked up a pretty good jump on Bob Johnson. So Johnson, who pitched out of a whale of an inning there in the 6th inning with runners at 1st and 3rd, and nobody out, has now gone 1 2/3 innings. And in that time has surrendered just 1 base hit. He struck out 2 Baltimore Orioles. He did not walk anybody yet, but that remains on the ledger until we see what Justy will do here to Buford.
Dave Justy's 3rd appearance in the World Series. He's pitched 3 innings, given up a run, walked 1 man, and struck out 1. And, of course, should he walk Buford here, it'll be charged to the departed Bob Johnson. But the tying run for the Orioles is down at second base with 2 out on the last of the 7th. Buford with a count of 3-1. Facing the National League's great Dave Justy. What a relief pitcher he is. Justy throws. It is outside. He has walked Buford. Justy didn't think so. and charged the walk of Bob Johnson. And now Justy can go to work on Dave Johnson, who has grounded into a double play, grounded back to the pitcher, and reached when Hebner, streaking toward the mound, dropped his chopper for an error in the 6th inning. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Pittsburgh, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for Baltimore. Bob Miller, Luke Walker continue to throw. Go-ahead run now on at first base in the person of Don Buford, who has speed. There's the ball, breaking pitch, fouled upstairs off to the right. It's strike 1 to Dave Johnson. Johnson has had 3 hits in 21 times at bat in this series. Came into the series hitting at .282 and a career high 18 home runs. With that in mind, Stargell is rather deep in left. They play Johnson pulled slightly to the left. 1 strike pitch. Justy's back. It bounces in front of the plate. Gloved by Sanguillen, and then he loses it. Drops out in front of the plate. And umpire John Kibler wants to look it over. Keeps the ball in play. 1 ball, 1 strike. There is some wind now, the first time at least that I've noticed it this afternoon, and it's blowing from home plate out toward left. One and one of the tightest of the 1971 World Series games. Justy throws, palm ball down low. It is 2 balls, 1 strike. On deck is the dangerous left-hander, Boog Powell, swinging a bat. Pirates lead it by a run. Justy's trying to save the lead. Throws down low at the knees this time with the palm ball, and it's 2 strikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Justy keeping that ball low. Justy, right-hander, out of Seneca Falls, New York. Ready with a 2-2 pitch. And there's a ball pumped into short left field. Stargell can't get to it. Here comes Belanger with a tying run. As the throw goes into second, it's 2-2. Not boos you hear. Boog Powell steps up, and he can untie this game. It is 2-2 in the last of the 7th. Pirates win today. The series is over. The Orioles are trying to prevent that from happening and going on to the 7th game tomorrow. Powell is 2, makes that 3 for 21. Single the last time up on a 3-2 pitch. This giant has great power. Justy throws. There's a ball hit out to left field deep. Stargell goes back. Now looks like he has it in range as he gets to the warning track and takes it for the 3rd out. But the tying run scores on 2 base hits. There were no errors, and for the 3rd inning in a row, the Orioles leave 2 men on base. At the end of 7, the Pirates 2, the Orioles 2.
Game 6 of the 1971 World Series continues after this.
Thank you, Chicagoland. Because of your encouragement and support over the last 50 years, York Furrier continues to grow and prosper. Now, as we celebrate 50 years of success, we'd like to give something back to you. So we're having our 50th anniversary sale. It's our way of saying thank you. When you come into York, you're going to find that we've cut the prices on our entire collection by 20, 30, 40, even 50%. Think of it, beautiful, luxurious York furs at half price. Fox, lynx, raccoon, sable, and York's famous natural mink. So come into York today and receive your gift from the Wagner family. A beautiful York fur at a tremendous savings. Thank you. From York Furrier, 107 North York Road, Elmhurst. Master craftsmen doing what they do best.
Well, we're into a brand new ball game here as we go into the top half of the 8th inning. Palmer, who had some problems, looked like they were going to bat for him one time and didn't. Looked like they were going to have to relieve him out on the mound. They didn't, and thus it's now up to a 2-2 ball game. And the ball that Johnson hit, a little looper out into left field, and they all count just like anything else. And that drove in the run. The run is charged to Johnson, so that now the game belongs to Dave Justy and to Jim Palmer. And coming to bat for the Pirates in the 8th inning will be Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver in that order. And Clemente's been a ball of fire. Has 11 hits in this series. And in this game today, a triple and a home run. So that's the way this one goes as we move into the top half of the 8th inning. And without any question, we are in a whale of a ball game, Jim Simpson.
All right, Bob. Clemente still kneeling in the on-deck circle. Roberto not only has that triple and the home run for the second Pirate run, but his other time at bat in the 5th inning, Clemente hit the ball very hard on a line to Merv Retman in center field. So he has hit the ball very hard. 2-2 the score. And Jim Palmer again with his work cut out. Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver, the 8th inning. Two runs, 7 hits, and a harmless error for the Pirates. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Baltimore. Jim Palmer, who won 20 and lost 9 during the regular season with a 2.68 earned run average, 3rd best in the American League, ready to throw to Clemente. Hits the ball very high, but not too deep. Buford out in left center field is there and takes it. Roberto Clemente jumping on the first pitch, a high pitch, and drove it to left center field. Here is Woody Stargell. Has not had a home run in this World Series, and he led the major leagues in home runs and is 0 for 3 today, and twice has gone down swinging at fastball, then takes ball 1. Stargell, like Boog Powell, a big left-handed swinger. Takes a high fastball, but it's a strike. All up around the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. When Stargell struck out in the first, it looked like he simply wasn't ready for the strikeout pitch and gave a little half-hearted swing. There's a pitch down low with the fastball, 2-1. Then he grounded to Belanger in the 3rd, and Palmer gave him a fastball right down the alley in the 5th, and Stargell went down swinging. Another fastball, foul to the screen, 2-2. Palmer's challenging Stargell. Was not really hurt the Orioles all through the series. And he did not have a good hitting series, as you well know, in the National League Championships against the Giants. Streak hitter, and due to break out sometime, high and away, he now has the 3-2 count. You know, Bob, a gentleman I broadcast with all year long, Sandy Koufax, says anytime you got a 3-2 count, that belongs to the hitter, not the pitcher. It's all in Stargell's favor, and he fouls it off. Pitch has got to come in with the pitcher. He has put the go-ahead run on first base. And when you have to come in with a pitch against Stargell, sometimes that's not too good. Stargell waits. Palmer ready. Throws, fouled off again to the left and upstairs. Well, you've got a 20-game winner battling a 48 home run hitter. Both were a breaking pitch, drilled out to left field. Buford comes over, back near the warning track, reaches up and has it for the second out. Stargell goes to the opposite field, and there was just too much room out there for Pirate fans, and Buford hauled it in. Here is Al Oliver, who has doubled and scored one of the 2 runs, grounded out and fly to left. 2-2 the score. We're in the top of the 8th. Breaking pitch. Out to right center field. Retman dashes over, is there, and takes it in short right center field. And Palmer gets Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver in 1-2-3 fashion. We go to the last of the 8th. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 2.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Unless the bugs and insects in your home are paying rent, why not evict them? Hi, Pat Summerall to remind you that True Value hardware stores offer Decon insecticide sprays designed to eliminate even persistent bug problems. Decon House and Garden Bug Killer is effective in controlling everything from roaches to bugs that attack your garden. And Decon Flying Insect Killer is a powerful weapon against bugs on the wing. Both Decon sprays have earned the Good Housekeeping seal, and you can get them at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
With Jim Simpson, Bob Prince from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, and they've been talking throughout this series about the so-called home court or home park advantage. Certainly it showed to be that It would seem, anyhow, in the first two games, Baltimore won. Then over to Pittsburgh, where the Pirates won. Baltimore is a team that has not lost more than 3 in a row too many times, and they now approach Jim Simpson that time in a ball game where a run here makes it very tough because they still have the last at bat.
Frank Robinson, Merv Retman, and Brooks Robinson, the heart of the lineup of the Orioles, faces Dave Justy. Last of the 8th inning of a 2-2 game. Justy, 30 saves during the regular season. Throws his first pitch. It's a strike at the knees. Robinson says that he did not go around. John Kibler says he did. Robinson again stares down to his coach. Well, it was Frank who said around the batting cage yesterday, tomorrow we've got to show the world what kind of team we are. We were picked to be a super team. We've lost 3 in a row. They're in danger of losing the series tomorrow. We've got to pick up the bat and go out there and show the people what kind of team we are. Robinson is 0 for 3 today with a chance to strike a blow for Baltimore in this tie game. Tom Ball is down low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike for Frank Robinson. Struck out of the curve in the 2nd, lined to Clemente in right in the 4th, and popped out to Hernandez on the first pitch he saw in the 6th with runners at 1st and 3rd. 1-1. He went around trying to check his swing again at an outside pitch, and Robinson has more to say to John Kibler. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Mets took the Orioles in 5 games 2 years ago. The Orioles took the Reds in 5 games last year. This is game 6, and we may have a 7th. Did not go around this time at a high pitch. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Frank very nearly was unable to check his swing then. 2-2. This is exactly what was predicted. A super World Series. Justy throws, off-speed pitch. Foul to the right. Bob Robertson gives chase near the box seats over there and cannot get it as he falls into the seats. And right there with him was Ed Sudol, Nestor Shylock, the first base umpire, to say that the ball had popped out of his glove. He didn't have it. Well, Frank Robinson has a life at 2 balls, 2 strikes. By the way, for those of you who keep track of such things, this is the 68th World Series, and this 2-2 ball game is the 400th World Series game in history. 2-2 pitch from Justy. Swing and a miss with a fastball high and in tight. Justy gets his first strikeout. Robinson strikes out for the 2nd time. Here's Retman, grounded out twice, and with runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out, looks at a 3rd called strike in the 6th inning. Justy throws down low and away, ball 1. Retman does have power and did hit 11 home runs and drove in 75 runs during the regular season, but is basically a hitter to all fields, just a good hitter. Fouls one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Buford's home run made it 2-1 in the 6th, and then in the 7th, Belanger scored on a Johnson single. There's a strike to Retman. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the first steal of the series became very important. Belanger stole. Second base. Buford later walked as he was trying to get him in, and Johnson drove in the tying run. Swing and a miss. And Retman goes down swinging on a palm ball. Well, as Jim Palmer did in the top of the 8th inning, thus far, so is Dave Justy doing in the bottom of the 8th inning. Going right against the best of the Oriole hitting strength, and he has struck out Frank Robinson and Merv Retman. Here is Brooks Robinson. 1 for 3 today. 7 hits in the series. He had 19 at-bats. Justy throws, breaking pitch outside. It's ball 1. In the Pirate 9th, it'll be Bob Robertson, Manny Sanguillen, and Jackie Hernandez. Manny Sanguillen and Jackie Hernandez. Back with the pitch. It misses outside. 2-0. And if Justy gets Robinson, 2-2. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Foul to the screen. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Pirates here in the 8th inning. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Orioles. And the count is 2-1 to Brooks Robinson. Justy's ready and throws. It just misses, and Justy didn't think so. It is 3-1. On 3-1 with 2 out and the base is empty, Brooks Robinson doesn't even bother to look down at his third base coach. He's just waiting to see Justy come in with this, and he did go around, strike 2. Kind of a half-hearted swing by Brooks. Started to swing, started to check, but went through, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball toward Cash at second base, off his glove, comes down with it, throws on to first base, and he's got him. The ball ran right up Cash's arm off his glove, and he picked it out of midair, took it out of his glove, and Brooks Robinson, who is not fast, was thrown out at first base. No runs, hits, or errors. We've gone 8 full innings. And the Pirates 2, the Orioles 2.
Game 6 of the 1971 World Series continues after this.
Do you remember? Do you remember when radio first became your friend?
Hi, this is Bob Collins, hoping you'll join me weekday afternoons from 2 to 4, evenings 7 to 9, and on Sunday mornings starting at 10. We'll play all of your favorite music, from the Carpenters to Barbra Streisand to John Denver's You Done Stomped on My Heart and You Mashed That Sucker Flat. Yes, friends! I'll keep you up to date on your favorite soap operas. You can test your musical trivia knowledge and mine, and give you a chance to strike back on any subject if you'll just give me a call. Call me, I'm so lonely. Join me weekday afternoons and evenings and on Sunday mornings at 10 for the Bob Collins Show, right here on WGN Radio. I'll see you all then, friends and neighbors out there in Radio Land.
Do you remember? Do you remember? Radio is my friend.
11 years ago, Bob Prince, up in Pittsburgh, you started down and you did not see the Mazeroski home run in the 7th game. You must go to the Pirate dressing room now, just in case, and I'm sure you have some thoughts as you turn your back for the moment, at least on the ball game.
Well, I certainly do. One thing I learned, I'll listen to you very carefully down there and find out what's going on, because I don't want to miss the hero of the hour in the event Pittsburgh is to win it.
All right, Bob, here's Bob Robertson to lead off the 9th inning. Robertson, of course, has 2 home runs in this World Series. Jim Palmer's gone all the way, is ready back with a fastball, and Robertson swings and misses. It is strike 1. We are in a 2-2 ball game. And it's very simple. Pirates win it, the World Series is over. Orioles win it, there's a 7th game tomorrow. 44,174 looking on. Palmer throws the ball in the dirt, outside. Palmer ready again, up high, and it's quickly 2-1. 53,229 watched the first ball game here in Baltimore. 53,239 watched the second game, so we're about 8,000 less than we were in the 2 games of last Saturday and Monday. 2 balls, 1 strike to Robertson. Fouls the ball upstairs off to the right. It's 2-2. A cloudy, rather humid day, although that it is said that there's only a 10% chance of rain today or tomorrow. Matter of fact, as we came to the stadium today, listening to the Baltimore radio stations, they were giving the weather for today's and tomorrow's 7th game, predicting an Oriole win. Big curve just misses inside. Hendricks kicks his foot. Palmer goes down almost to his hands and knees and now stands up and looks in at John Kibler. Breaking pitch inside. Robertson taking all the way. And it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Earl Weaver snatched off his hat in the dugout and just buries his head. And you know how he will feel if Robertson gets out of this one safely. They thought they had him. Back with a fastball. Popped up, foul, and back of home plate. Out of play. You will recall, of course, that when Bob Moose left the ball game back in the 6th inning, he thought that he had a 3rd strike call, only to give up a single to Boog Powell. And as he left, he was saying something to John Kibler. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Palmer ready. Throws the fastball and strikes him out. 4th strikeout for Palmer. Pete Rickard and Ed Watt are warming in the bullpen for Baltimore. Rickard, the left-hander, former Dodger, and Ed Watt, the right-hander. 2-2 the score. Manny Sanguillen, who is 2 for 3 today. The Pirate catcher. at bat. Sanguillen hit 7 home runs during the regular season and takes a home run cut there, but misses strike one. The Pirates love to see Sanguillen hit home runs, not only because it scores a run, but they love to see him trot the bases. They call him Turkey. He's got quite a trot. Outside with the pitch is Palmer. 1 ball, 1 strike. He almost runs like a pacer. Or is it a trotter? 1-1 pitch and swing and a miss to the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Palmer was in a lot of trouble. Earl Weaver let him stay in to bat for himself and let him stay in when the Pirates were causing big noises in the early innings. And now Palmer's battling to send the Orioles to the 7th game. Big curve, misses inside, and it's 2-2. Now you get that constant buzz from the fans as they realize at any moment this game can be won or lost. We are in the 9th inning of a tie game. They play Sanguillen to hit to right. Back with a breaking pitch, misses, and for the second batter in a row here in the 9th inning, Palmer, who threw 168 pitches in last Monday's game, has gone 3-2 on the batter. Sanguillen doesn't walk, remember. He's up there to swing, and swings and bounces the ball on 2 hops to Belanger over his head. Takes a bad hop, and Sanguillen goes all around. He's going to try for second. The throw to second base. He is out.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Oh, instead of Sanguillen on at first with a single, or down at second with a double. There are 2 out, nobody on. Hendricks comes back, and Hernandez comes up.
Number 2, Jackie Hernandez.
Sanguillen 3 for 4, but is erased on the perfect throw from Don Buford. 2 out on the top of the 9th. Palmer ready and throws a fastball. Hernandez swings and misses strike 1. Palmer, who has been effective, throws a high fastball, swinging strike 2. The last 19 men, Palmer's given up on an infield hit and a walk, and then Sanguillen single, and he's been erased. And he's out in front of Hernandez, 0-2, with a couple of high fastballs that Hernandez has gone after and missed. Jackie is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Came into the World Series game hitting .364 in the series. Called out on strike. Jim Palmer records his 5th strikeout. Caught Hernandez on 3 pitches. 2 swinging strikes, and then the spotter hit the outside corner with a called strike 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left. We go to the last of the 9th of a 2-2 ball game.
Now listen, but listen quick, because it comes and goes just like that. The Pennzoil Chaparral, driven by national champion Johnny Rutherford. Here it comes again, all bright and brilliant in its traditional Pennzoil yellow color. That's a $40,000 engine that just roared by, turning out 9,500 torturous RPM. Does it mile after mile after hard-running mile, race after race after race. The Pennzoil Chaparral. It has Pennzoil written on it and Pennzoil in it. Protection for a winner. Pennzoil Motor Oil. Protection for cars like the Chaparral and cars like yours. Ask for it.
America has asked for Pennzoil since America learned to drive. Pennzoil, we ask for motor oil. Pennzoil.
Well, with Bob Prince right now in the Pirate dressing room, this is one of the voices of the Orioles, Phil O'Donnell, who along with Jim Simpson was hosting you in games 3, 4, and 5 of the World Series in Pittsburgh. Now we've got a 2-game 6 tie. Going to the bottom of the 9th inning, the Pirates have been pitching Moose, Johnson, and Justy. Justy since the bottom of the 7th inning when Baltimore tied it up. Now we go to the Oriole night and to Jim Simpson.
All right, Bill Ellie Hendricks, 0 for 3, but with that strong home run power, big left-handed batter with a very heavy bat. Facing Dave Justy, owner of that fine pound ball, throws a breaking pitch outside ball 1. The last extra inning game in the World Series was back in 1969 when the Mets beat the Orioles in 10 innings at New York in the fourth game. 1-ball pitch, another breaking pitch, and this is a strike. Drops over against Hendricks. Pirates 2, Baltimore 2. During the season, out of 14 extra inning games, Baltimore won 7. During the season, out of 12 extra inning games, Pittsburgh won 6. Justy throws, breaking pitch, ground ball, which is foul at first base, gloved by Bob Robertson. Back of the line and keeps the ball in play. We're in the last of the ninth. Pittsburgh had a 2-0 lead. Oliver led off with a double in the second, was singled home by Bob Robertson. There's a home run by Clemente in the third. And then for Baltimore, they got one of their runs on a Buford home run in the sixth. And Johnson drove in Belanger, who had singled and stolen second in the seventh. It's 2-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hendricks way outside. It is 2-2. Dobson continues to throw. The right-hander who started Wednesday night's game in Pittsburgh. The Baltimore bullpen. No team has ever lost the first 2 and come back to sweep the next 4, and that's what the Pirates are trying to do this afternoon. The Orioles have other ideas. 2-2 in under the hands. He went around swinging, and Hendricks is very despondent and upset at himself for striking out on a bad pitch. Third strikeout for Justy, and it is the 7th in the ball game for the Pirate pitching staff. And Justy has now struck out 3 of the last 4 men that he's faced. Here's Mark Belanger, who singled to right, a ground ball to the right in the 7th inning. After they could not move him along, he stole second and later scored on Dave Johnson's game-tying single. Takes a strike with a fastball on the outside corner. Bomb ball down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck is Jim Palmer. Palmer, who threw those 168 pitches last Monday, in danger, unless the Orioles score here, of going an extra inning game today. Fouled off to the right by Belanger. Jim Palmer trying to give himself a 26th birthday present. He was 26 yesterday. Matter of fact, the Pirates starter, Bob Moose, was 24 last Saturday. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and it just misses. And Ian crouches there holding on to the ball as if to say, Mr. Kibler, I think it's over. Both the Orioles and the Pirates have been questioning the calls of John Kibler. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Justy working rapidly. Belanger does not go around, checks his swing on a pitch on the outside corner, and it is 3-2. And now Justy yells something in to John Kibler. Danny Murtaugh is up. Dan seldom gets up, but he is up, hands on his hips, walking around in the bullpen, or rather in the dugout. Upset with the call. 3-2, popped up, foul out of play behind home plate. You'll recall in the top of this inning, and back in the 8th, Earl Weaver was up, hat off, in the dugout. Upset at the calls of the umpires. 1 out in the 9th of a tie game, 6th game of the World Series. Justy, the right-hander, throws foul to the screen. And Belanger just did get a tip of that ball. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. 1 error was not costly. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Baltimore. Each team has a home run. Buford and Clemente. 3-2 pitch. In under the hands, ball 4. Sandian thought he had that one. Jim Palmer is going back to the dugout. Palmer, who has thrown all those pitches, has been called on to move the man across, was successful with a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, but was called out looking at a strike in the 7th. Tom Chopay, 0 for 3 in the series. Little fellow that does not hit for power, but makes a lot of contact and has a lot of speed, which would mean, of course, with Belanger's good speed and Chopay's excellent speed, that the Orioles have a chance to stay out of the double play. But Chopay is up there to move the man along and give Dom Buford, who has homered and singled and walked in this game, a chance to drive in the winning run. Palmer did all that he could, working 9 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, 7 hits, struck out 5, and walked only 1 in a superb performance by the Baltimore right-hander. Now it will be up to someone else. Undoubtedly, Pat Dobson, who continues to warm. Hebner's in on the grass at third. Belanger leads off at first. 1 out in the last of the 9th. Justy throws. It's a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chopay used sparingly throughout the regular season. 257 average, no home runs, and 5 RBIs. Infield a double play depth. They play Chopay slightly to the opposite field, and now John Kibler calls time. Chopay steps back in. Pittsburgh bullpen not busy with Mr. Justy at work. Baltimore bullpen is busy because if it goes to extra innings, we will have relief for Jim Palmer. Dave McNally has gotten up to start throwing with Dobson. Foul bunt at the plate. Sanguin pounces on it, but it's in foul territory. Actually hit the plate and bounced off to the left. How about that for a bullpen? 20-game winner Pat Dobson, 20-game winner Dave McNally, each of whom has started a World Series game here in 1971. Justy looks, throws outside. It is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chopay. Stargell in left is very shallow. Oliver in center. Clemente over in right. Clemente has been playing a shallow right field, even against bigger hitters here. 1-2 the count, and it's low. Ball 2. Kibler put up both hands on the safe side. As the ball actually went off the bat of Chopay, he did not swing, and Sanguin did not hold on to it. Ball is popped up. May be in play, may not. Sanguin comes back to the screen, looks as it bounces about 2 feet onto the screen, and drops off. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chopay. We are in the last of the 9th. It's all tied up at 2 apiece. And the winning run, Mark Belanger, stands down at first base with 1 out, and Chopay with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Justy ready to throw. Fastball. It is down low, and it is 2-2 to Chopay. Ball is hit to center field. Oliver has to go back on it as he was playing in shallow, but is back in plenty of time as the ball was hit high, and now they're 2 out as Belanger, who's down at second base, comes back to first. Well, it's up to Don Buford. Unless we go to extra innings, Buford singled in the first, was erased on a double play, struck out swinging at a fastball in the third, homered off Bob Moose in the 6th, and drew a walk off Moose, with the 4th pitch actually thrown by Justy in the 7th. A swing around to the right for this switch hitter, who has shown us fine power in this series with 2 home runs in this park into the right field seats. Justy keeping Belanger. Remember what happened back in the 7th inning. Palmer tried to bunt Belanger over. Was unsuccessful, and Mark stole another check at first. And that set up the Davy Johnson bloop single to left field that drove him in with a tying run. Justy doesn't want that winning run to go down to second base. Belanger takes the lead off at first. Justy throws. It is low, gets away from Sanguin, but he reaches back and snatches the ball up quickly. 1 ball. No strikes to Buford. Hernandez playing very nearly in back of second base, the shortstop. They're playing Buford way around to the right. Oliver well over in right center. Breaking pitch, strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Buford. 9th inning, 2 out, Belanger first. 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for the Pirates, and Baltimore threatening to win it. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. Justy throws 2 low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, there are 8,000 empty seats, and the 8,000 who decided not to come are probably missing one of the best ball games of the 71 series. They're all tied and could go to extra innings. Two and one, and there's a swinging strike 2. Dusty took something off that pitch, and Buford was way out in front. Hebner at third base with Hernandez pulled over towards second is a good 15 feet off the line at third. Back again, drive down the line. It is a fair ball. Belanger's on his way around second. Clemente with a great arm comes up with it. Belanger stops at third. Buford goes down to second as the throw comes home on one hop. A powerful throw from Roberto Clemente. But now with Davy Johnson coming up, we have Buford down at second with his third base hit of the day and the winning run 90 feet away. Johnson today grounded into a double play, back to the pitcher, reached on Hebner's error at third, and singled in the tying run, and now the second baseman has a chance to become a real hero by driving in the winning run. Buford down at second. First base is open, but Boog Powell is the next batter. 2 are out. Pirates 2, Baltimore 2. Belanger makes it home from third base. We go to the 7th game of the World Series tomorrow afternoon. 2 o'clock Eastern time it will start. Now Justy signals to Sanguillen he'd like to talk things over. Justy was the man that gave up the base hit to Johnson last time up on a 2-2 pitch. Ready to throw. Fastball. It's fouled back near us. Strike 1 to Johnson. Baltimore won the first 2 games in this ballpark. Pittsburgh won the next 3 in their Three Rivers Stadium. Baltimore's back home and would like to win again today. Justy throws, swing and a miss by Johnson. It's 2 strikes. Justy's challenged him with a fastball in about the letters. Belanger at third, Buford at second. There are 2 out in the last of the night. Justy throws, ground ball toward the shortstop. Hernandez, it goes off his shoulder, now throws to first. They've got him at first. In a bang-bang play, that ball ran up Hernandez's shoulder and is cast in. Back in the 8th inning on the ground ball hit by Brooks Robinson. He snatched it out of the air and threw on to get Davy Johnson. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Belanger had already crossed home plate at the end of 9. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 2.
For the first time in this 6th game of the World Series, Baltimore goes to its bullpen as we move to the top of the 10th inning. And the 4th game Orioles starter, Pat Dobson, comes in the bullpen to replace right-handed starter Jim Palmer. Only once this year did Dobson appear in relief, and that was his last appearance of the season when he threw 2 innings of relief in a final game victory for Dave McNally over the Red Sox. Palmer, the starter, is now no longer involved in the decision. He goes the first 9 innings, gives up 2 runs, 8 hits, strikes out 5, and he walks 1. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Pirates. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Orioles. Dave McNally continues to warm in the Baltimore bullpen. Here's Jim now on the top of the 10th.
Thanks, Bill. Vic Davalillo will bat for Justy. Davalillo has been up twice in this series, has a pinch hitter both times, and has 1 for 2. Justy worked 2 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 3. 1 walk. Dobson's first pitch low and away to Davalillo. Jim Palmer did a superb job for the Orioles, and of course Justy did a great job to get out of that 9th inning struggle. Here's the ball 1 pitch, line drive right to Johnson at second base. Davey went down to his knees to capture that line drive. And here's Cash. Dave Cash. Hard hitting, not long ball hitting second baseman who today has popped up twice, grounded to short, and hit a sharp liner that Belanger took on 1 hop and threw him out in the 7th. 2-2 the score. We are in the 10th inning of the 6th World Series game, entrusted to Pat Dobson. Strike. Slider thrown by Dobson, and of course, the Buccos will have to come back with a pitcher in the last of the 10th inning to replace Dave Justy. Fastball fouled off and goes into the Pirate dugout along the first base line. 2 strikes to Cash. Rich Hebner, left-handed swinger, 0 for 3 today, plus a walk, kneels on deck. Bob Miller throwing in the bullpen now for the Buccos. Overhand fastball, and it's fouled at the plate and gets back to the screen. It is still 2 strikes to Davalier, or rather to Dave Cash. Dobson ready to throw. The ball is lined on a base hit to right field. Cash takes the wide turn, watches Frank Robinson throw into the cutoff man Davy Johnson. And now the go-ahead run is on for the Pirates as Cash gets his first hit today. And here comes Rich Hebner. Hebner fly to center, popped out, walked, and grounded to short. Hebner does have that power. That produced for him 17 home runs during the regular season. That dramatic home run in one of the championship playoff games and a home run here in the series. Strike at the knees, breaking pitch. Dobson, when he started that game Wednesday night up in Pittsburgh, the first night game in the World Series history, did have great stuff, but could not make the good pitches, couldn't get them over. He had not pitched in about 3 weeks. Strike 1 pitch, throws him a breaking pitch, fouled at the plate and rolls over towards Clemente in the on-deck circle. 1 out on the 10th, Cash at first. 2-2 the score. Or rather, Dobson wants a new ball and will get it from John Kibler. Frank Robinson rather deep in right field. They're pulling Hebner around to the right. He is a pull hitter. Youngster from Massachusetts. Could have been a great hockey player. Decided on baseball. Check over at Cash at first base. Dave Cash has fine speed. Has not stolen a base in this series. 2 strikes the count. Dobson ready, throws an off-speed pitch. It stays down low. Cash stole 13 bases in 18 attempts during the regular season. Dobson, the right-hander. Ready to throw. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Hendricks throw down to second base, and in safely is Cash with the stolen base. As Hebner strikes out, swinging to protect the runner, who was obviously on the way to steal second base, and now Cash is slow in getting up. Tony Barterome, the trainer, runs out for the Pirates. Frank Osiak ran out, and they're talking to Cash, and, well, we are in the 10th inning. Cash is down at second base, still being ministered to. And the point is, with 2 out, here is Roberto Clemente. Came in hitting at .429, has hit a triple and a home run, has lined to center and fly to left. That's the Pirates' 5th steal of the series. And they have done to the Orioles what the Orioles did to them when Belanger pulled off their first steal and scored the tying run in this 2-2 game. Well, here's Clemente. Clemente has 11 base hits. Has hit safely now in 13 World Series, and they're going to take the bat right out of his hands. They're going to walk him. McNally continues to throw. There is ball 2 to Clemente. And you wonder, will McNally come in to pitch to Stargell, or will they allow Dobson to stay in to pitch to the fella who led the major leagues in home runs? Ball 3 now to Roberto Clemente. There's ball 4. We have runners now at first and second. And here comes Earl Weaver, and I think in a moment we'll say here comes Dave McNally. Weaver trudging out to the mound. Stargell on deck. Willie today has struck out swinging twice, grounded out, and last time up, line to left field. Weaver talking to Dobson. And Dobson is all through. McNally will be coming on. Stargell against McNally in the first game struck out at a fastball in the first inning, walked, grounded out, and struck out again in the eighth. Well, he was 0 for 3 and struck out 2 of those times. McNally, when he faced Stargell in the fifth game of the World Series, Stargell grounded out and fly to left. So McNally, who is coming in to pitch to Stargell, has allowed him a base on balls, and that is all. And here's Bill.
Jim, I've got to think that with all the records they keep of the World Series since it began, we may well have a first here this afternoon. Baltimore, which had 4 20-game winners, and the first ball club to have it since the White Sox back in the 20s. This afternoon's ball game, now we've had 3 20-game winners appear. Jim Palmer, the starter, who won 20. Pat Dobson, who also won 20 in his last start of 1971. And Dave McNally, who won 21 games during 1971. They have now all appeared in this 6th game of the World Series. Now, McNally pitched in Game 5. He pitched only 4 innings. He gave up 4 runs to the Pirates, all 4 of them, along with 7 base hits. He was roughed up for 7 of the 9 Pirate base hits as he and the Orioles were defeated by Nelson Briles to the tune of 4-0. So Dobson, in a sense, came in on the spot in a 2-2 tie. He got Davalillo, the leadoff man, as the pinch hitter for Justy, lining out. Then Cash delivered a base hit, and as Hebner fanned, Cash stole second base. And from the standpoint of doing the right thing, that's exactly what Earl Weaver did with the tie-breaking run at second base, namely Dave Cash. He gave Clemente, who had tripled and homered in this ball game, he gave Clemente first base, yanked Dobson, brings on 21-game winner McNally for his 3rd pitching appearance in this series, and naturally his first as a reliever. So you've got the crafty McNally against the power of Stargell plus Jim Simpson.
All right, Bill, Stargell is 0 for 4 today. Had the major leagues in home runs, up there swinging that bat, now waits for the first McNally pitch. Throws way outside and away from Stargell. Ball 1. Down at second after a single and a stolen base, Dave Cash. On with the intentional walk is Roberto Clemente. Stargell did not hit in those championship games against the Giants. Has not been a big hitter in the World Series. If he is to be off the hook and to do very well, there's a big swing and a miss. This would be Willie's spot. But McNally simply blew that fastball right by him. Rickard and Watt, who've been up and throwing before, are up and throwing again. In this series, McNally's pitched 13 innings, earned run average of 2.08. 1 ball, 1 strike to Stargell, low and away again. Hendricks down to his knees to dig it out. 2 out, 10th inning, 2-2 the score. Pirates have a great shot here with a .295 hitter during the regular season with those 125 RBIs and 48 home runs. But he's facing a 20-game winner who is a left-hander pitching to the left-hander Stargell. McNally ready. It's high with the fastball, and it's 3-1. McNally must come in with a pitch, and waiting on deck is another left-handed hitter, Al Oliver, who already has doubled and scored 1 of the 2 Pirate runs. Clemente way off at first base. They're not holding against him with the left-hander Stargell up there. Here's the 3-1 pitch, way outside and low. Ball 4. Stargell walks. The bases are loaded with 2 out, and here comes Al Oliver. That's the 3rd walk given up by the Baltimore staff. Palmer gave up 1 in his 9 innings. Dobson walked Clemente intensely, and now Stargell draws the walk. Here's Al Oliver. Doubled and scored in the 2nd, grounded out and flied out twice. Don Kibler out in front of the plate. This is Dave McNally's first relief appearance since July 19th of 1969 at Boston. Al Oliver, left-hander, stands well back at the plate. McNally ready to throw. Outside and low again. Ball 1. I don't have to tell you. A base on balls, and the Pirates take the lead. McNally ready. Oliver waits. It's strike at the knees, catching the outside corner. Cash is at 3rd. Clemente at 2nd. Stargell at 1st. Almost sounds like an all-star lineup, doesn't it, for the National League? 1 ball, 1 strike. Oliver waits. McNally throws, ground ball, and it is foul down the first base line. Oliver topped that ball, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. McNally was behind Estargil 3-1 and walked him. Now he is ahead of Oliver 1-2. 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Orioles in the top of the 10th. Oliver waits. McNally ready. 1-2 pitch. It's low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McNally looks over at third base. Ready? Here's the 2-2 pitch. The ball is hit to center field. Back goes Retman. Still back near the warning track, backing on the ball and takes it for the third out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. The Pirates in this series have now left 59 men on base. We go to the last of the 10th of a 2-2 ball game.
This is
And Jim Simpson. This is Bill O'Donnell. And before we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, 2 changes now for Pittsburgh. Their new pitcher, right-handed reliever Bob Miller, follows Bob Moose, Bob Johnson, Dave Justy, and also a new center fielder, Davalillo, Vic Davalillo, who batted in the top of the 10th inning. Davalillo remains in the ball game. Davalillo plays center for Oliver. That means that the pitcher, Miller, will be batting in Oliver's spot 5th in the order. Miller's 3rd appearance in this World Series. He appeared in games 1 and 2. Back to Jim in the bottom of the 10th.
Boog Powell leads it off against Bob Miller and takes outside ball 1. Powell flied to right in the 1st, popped to the second baseman in the 4th, singled in the 6th, and flied deep to left in the 7th. Miller has been in 2 games before. His earned run average in the series, 2.25. Has worked 4 innings. This is his 6th series game. The ball 1 count. 1 big hop to cash at second base against the shifted infield, and he throws on to Robertson, and there's 1 out on the Baltimore 10th. We have had 1 bad hop over Belanger at shortstop, and we've had a ball run up the arm of Cash and run up the arm of Hernandez. Some hops coming off this Baltimore infield. Here is Frank Robinson. 2-2. Robinson has hit 2 home runs in the series. Today he is 0 for 4 and has struck out twice. Orioles win it. We're back for a 7th game tomorrow. Pirates win it. It's all over. Outside with the fastball. It's ball 1 to Frank Robinson. Frank struck out in the 2nd and the 8th, and in between he lined to right and popped to the shortstop. Down to the screen. Moose, Johnson, Justy, and now Miller. For Pittsburgh, tomorrow, Mike Cuellar and Steve Blass, if there be a tomorrow, for the 1971 World Series. Playing Robinson straight away and deep, although Stargell has pulled a little bit more to the left. Miller's back throws a curveball outside and low, 2 balls, 1 strike. Miller, during the regular season with the Pirates, had an earned run average of 1.29. His overall season, 8-5 and a 1.64 earned run average. 2-1. Fastball is up high. It is 3-1. Bob has been around for a dozen years in the major leagues and says the biggest thing he's got going for him now is experience. But right now, he is down 3-1 to Frank Robinson, and Retman is on deck. Miller ready to throw, and throws, just missing the outside corner, ball 4. The winning run. Frank Robinson drops down to first base. And here is Merv Retman. Nobody throwing out on the Bucco bullpen at this moment, nor is there anyone throwing in the Oriole bullpen. 2-2 the score, last of the 10th. Wherever you're listening around the world or around the United States, we welcome you to this 6th game of the World Series, and we've got one, haven't we? The dandy. Retman waits, right-hander, bouncing ball up the middle. Cash comes over, can't get by, goes on by, and Robinson goes to third base. Here's the throw to third base. He is safe at third. Runners at the corner with 1 out. Brooks Robinson, the most valuable player a year ago in the World Series, comes up. 1 for 4 today. The best clutch hitter that the Orioles have. The Pirates scouting report lists Brooks at the top of the most feared hitters. Brooks during the season hit .272, but 20 home runs and 92 RBIs. And Brooks can send the Orioles and Pirates to the 7th game of the World Series. A fly ball can do it. Robinson, third base, still has speed. Miller throws, foul back toward the screen. Strike one. Well, the Orioles had runners at first and third with 2 out in the 9th inning and couldn't get them home. Now they've got runners at the corners with 1 out. Miller throws. Breaking pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore fans, almost to a person, on the edge of their seats. Fastball in on him, and he swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miller's doing a lot of walking around on the mound, staring out, adjusting his cap, tugging at his trousers. Now steps off. 1 ball, 2 strikes as he's moved out ahead of Brooks Robinson with big Ellie Hendricks on deck. High ball game, last attempt. There goes a runner, and Brooks fouls it away to the right. Retman was on his way to second. Brooks fouled it away, and the question would have been, would Sandian have thrown to second, or would he have simply given Retman second base, because the Orioles only need a run, and it's all over. One ball, 2 strikes. Retman not going. Ball is hit out to center field. Davalillo in short center field. Robinson tags. Here comes the throw. It is up the line. Safe. We go to 7 games. Robinson hit a line drive to short center field. Davalillo was playing him there because a deep fly would have scored him easily.